All right, guys, this next guest, man, he don't typically do interviews, but he's a friend of the channel. Our first interview was crazy, very informative. Mr. 326 Muzik himself, Cano Almighty.
What's going on, Panda Chop? What's going on?
Yo, Cano, man, what's good with you, bro?
Same old thing, man. Just working, doing the same old thing, bro, you know? Staying positive.
Well, you look good, man. Look at you. You got the hat on and everything.
You already know.
Chains.
You already know.
I'm glad to have you back, bro.
You glad to be back.
All right, man. Well, did you know Pistol Pete personally?
No. I bumped into him a few times, and we never landed in the same joints at the same time, but I know who he is.
Okay, but like, what was your interaction with him during those times that you guys bumped into each other?
I mean, it was brief intervals. Like, you know, one time we went to the Limelight. We was there with Petey Crack. He was about to get on stage. He was there with Mike Beck, my brother June, a couple of people. So, you know, we knew a lot of people in the same circles. Like, you know, we bumped into each other on a few different occasions, you know.
But he knew that you was rocking with Cuban and everything?
Obviously, everybody knew he was rocking with Cuban, yeah.
All right, okay. So you said you guys were never locked up together.
No.
Did you see the interview that he did recently?
He did a few. Which one with the one about the jail story? And
Yeah.
Okay.
So he said that he was locked up in Rikers in 87 for 3 years before going up north. And he said that like they had hit, you know, there was a lot of different things. Like people were like calling cap on him because it seemed like he couldn't get the years right of like when he went in, when he got out and stuff like that. And even like the person interviewing him was like, wait, that's not adding up. And like, he had a hard time believing him.
I mean, listen, bro, I can't remember every jail I was at the year, the exact moment. So, you know what I'm saying? It's been, you're talking about 40 years ago, 35 years ago, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, a lot of things happen, a lot of things, you know, that shit happens to me sometimes too. I get dates mixed up. I don't mix up the dates I was locked up, obviously, but I don't remember exact dates, what jails I was at. I know the year I was there, but sometimes I won't remember the month or, you know, till it clicks, you know what I'm saying? So it's been 30-something years. We talking about the 80s, bro, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, you know.
So he said,
I can't tell his story, you know what I'm saying? Only he knows his story, you know what I mean?
He said that he was the first predicate that they had shackled and chained, and they had to build a visiting room just for him, and he cut 19 people. Does that sound like the reputation that you know him for?
I can't speak on that because I don't know. There was a lot of people that had the red ID. I wouldn't know who was the one with the first red ID predicate. I wouldn't know that, to be honest with you, you know what I mean? Everything I heard about Pete when I went in the system, dude kept it funky in the jail system. I ain't really hear no, you know, no punk shit or nothing like that about him, you know what I mean? So I can't really speak about something I wasn't there, you know what I mean?
What do you think of the story that he said about running the Puerto Rican flag out and stabbing anyone that was black?
I mean, there's a lot of racial shit going on at certain times in prison. There was a lot of racial things, you know what I mean? I know something a little bit about that story with Mike and all that, you know what I'm saying? But I don't really know. That was before I was up there. As far as a flag, I don't know, bro. That's hard to have like he might have thrown a bandana or something, you know, because you was allowed to have bandanas, but to actually have a Puerto Rican flag upstate is a little bit, you know what I mean? They wasn't allowing nothing like that because they got, you know, uniform colors and stuff like that. So I don't know.
What did you hear about that story? Did you hear that it was him? Because some people were saying that they heard that story attached to someone else.
Bro, I'll be honest, I wasn't there for that, so I can't really speak about it. I know he was involved in it. I don't know the extent of it. Like I said, I'm going on hearsay, so I wasn't there, so I don't really know. I know he got busy. He hit somebody in the yard that day. The whole story, I really don't know the whole story. You know what I mean?
Got you. Yeah, I think that he did kind of like a bad job explaining the story. That's why he got like all the backlash. Like he could have did a better job like talking about it. But what do you think about the backlash that he's getting from that?
I mean, everybody going to talk about what I don't really like is like everybody starting to make it a racial thing. You know what I mean? Because there was a lot of dudes in there that there was a lot of racial tension. You know, you go in, you deal with your people. I had a lot of black friends. I grew up around blacks, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't really go in there on that, you know what I mean? But jail kind of like, it divides you, you know what I'm saying? Because you got a lot of dudes that really, really be on it. Even when I was walking the yard with a lot of my peoples from Yonkers that I grew up with, they'd be like, oh, what you doing with them? Bro, I grew up with them, bro. I went to fucking grade school with them. So it's a lot of like, you know what I mean? I don't know, jail is weird, bro. You know what I'm saying? Rikers is a whole different story from upstate. You know, before the gang shit and all that shit was boroughs. It was all about boroughs, and it was a race thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was a lot of racial thing. You know what I mean?
Did you see his response? Like when he tried to clear it up on the video that he put out?
I mean, there's nothing really to clear up, bro. That's his story. You know what I'm saying? People going to judge him. They're going to judge him regardless of what he's going to say. It's his story. Now, does it sound exaggerated or something? That's his story, bro. Nobody can tell you, you know, there might be other people like, you know how it happens. You got this guy's version, that guy's version, that person's version, and then the truth. Obviously, none of us was there, so I can't speak about it. I can't take nothing from him. You know what I'm saying?
So how long have you been home from prison now, man?
97, 96, when I came home, 96.
So almost 30 years.
Yep.
So wow. So after our first interview, right, I had interviewed 10 Toes Down.
Okay.
And he said that the narrative that the Bloods were created because of the Latin kings oppressing them is not entirely true because it was happening on both sides. He says the narrative comes from one building, C73, and there's HDM, C95, C74, C76.
The beacon or facility. Yeah.
So he said it was happening on both sides. But where is it coming from that people keep on just trying to push like one agenda?
What, the narrative that there was, that's why they formed?
Yeah.
I mean, it got to a point that the nation was so strong, bro, that you could look at it as oppression because it didn't matter what building you hit the island at one point. Like, I'm going to say like 93 going into 94 was like one of our strongest times on Rikers Island. 92, that's when it started getting strong. But 93, 94, it didn't matter what building you landed, there was always a king phone in that house. So there could be one king in that house and he had the phone and he had control of the phone. Just one king being in the house. That's how strong it got. So, you know, you could, once you get that big and dominated, some people might feel oppression and feel that way. Was there oppression? There might have been some oppression. There was a lot of racial shit, like I said. You know what I mean? There was definitely a lot of racial shit going on. And
but it was both sides, though, like he's saying.
It was both sides. It was both sided. Like, all right. For instance, when I first started getting locked up, like in the 80s, right? When I first getting locked up and I started hitting like C74 and those buildings, it was a borough thing. It was either you was with Brooklyn, you was with the Bronx, each borough had like sections. And that's how the buildings, the wars and all the bullshit was ran by boroughs. The thing is, the Latinos, you would come in and you be a victim. Unless you was somebody that let your shit hang, you was going to be a victim because the majority at that point was black. So it comes a time now when the Spanish now start coming through with all the drug rage, with all the TNTs and all the Latinos coming out here. Because when the block started getting crazy, they'll do a sweep and they'll call Puerto Rico and get 20 dudes sent on the next plane to serve the block. So, or the DR, and the blocks would get flooded with Latinos. So there was so many Spanish people coming in at one point. And the difference is, again, we go back to the culture situation. You might come into a house and there'll be a couple of Latins in the house and they'll come up to you and be like, yo, you all right? Where you from? Blah, blah, blah. What you need? You need some soap? You need toothpaste? You need this? You need that? And it's not on the old school jail thing, never take anything from anybody. It's doing it because you were Latino. You know what I'm saying? They're looking out for their own. So they had this cultural thing. Now, as time goes on, that little unity starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, obviously, some type of abuse goes on because now they got the majority. So it depended on the building you landed in. So, you know, if you went to C95 was majority Latin because They had a lot of they had the methadone program there, so there was a lot of a lot of Latins like to do their thing. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of drug addicts that go in there, and everybody that wanted to be around the Latinos were fake having drug habits just to get put into that building. If you landed like in the 3 building was more half and half. HDM, that shit was where all the fucking killers, the high classification was at. That was where all the goony google. So yeah, it was abuse on both sides. It wasn't like a lot of people painted like, oh, it was this and that. Like even when the story that Pistol Pete tells, it was a Latins versus black situation. Now nobody speaks about if there was gang ties involved in that, which that should be some of the questions you should ask when you dissect the stories. If you ever get to interview Brandon or Mike or Pistol or any of them, you should find out if there was any gang ties involved. You know what I mean?
Oh wait, but Pete was a king at one point, right?
That's the story. That's why I said that.
Wow, that's interesting.
Supposedly,
he was saying though, like in his story though, he said that he told his black friends to stay in their cell before that situation popped off.
I'm gonna keep it real, Kasaki. You not telling those little motherfuckers over there. You tell somebody not to go to the yard. That's where everybody wants to be, is in that yard. That yard, you gotta understand. The worst place to be is anything around is adolescence, especially in those years. All the Rikers cut-ins and all the stabbings and all that fucking shit came from the 4 building. All those big beefs that everybody's talking about on YouTube right now, those aren't mostly adult jails. They talking about C-74 beefs that went into the adults. You understand what I'm saying? Like a lot of those beefs are all like, even the thing with OG Mac and all that shit, he was in the 4 building. All these major Mano, all these dudes, Mike Beck, all these beefs are really from the 4 building. You know what I'm saying? Which is the adolescents. So Green was controlled mostly by the Latinos at that time point. So a lot of the dudes that they ran out of that jail, stabbed or whatever, will go to Kasaki. So Kasaki was a majority, it had a lot of blacks in Kasaki, but it's the wild jail. You know what I'm saying? It's where they send all the adolescents. They either sent you there or Elmira. So all the fuck-ups was either, all the fuck-up adolescents and all the adolescents maxes was either Elmira or Kasaki. So that, I don't know. For him to go tell his black friends, he might have warned them and told them, yo, bro, don't play the yard. Shit gonna hit the fan. But them little motherfuckers was probably gonna be like, who the fuck is, man, listen, we gonna hit that yard today. I just... It was too much tension at that time for some, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, bro.
What's the story with Pete being a king? He just dropped out of it, or what happened with that?
Bro, I don't know. I heard there was a situation. I heard the different stories. Like I said, I heard he was. Then I heard he used to just run with the brothers. Supposedly there was a beef that went down, and niggas, they pop off the way they were supposed to, and then he just started doing his own thing. That's one of the stories I heard. Do I know he's a king? No, I don't know. This is just rumors of people saying he was. So I was never in the jail with him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whenever I landed somewhere, like most of my bit, like I was with Ding Ding that they talk about from the Bronx Valentine's Day murder. He was a king at one point. He had a beef with the dude that killed his wife on the Bronx Supreme Steps. That dude was a king. So both of them being kings, Blood sent the letter down and said neither one of them can become kings unless they squash their beef. One became a Blood, and the other one became a Rat Hunter because they couldn't both be kings at the time. You know what I'm saying? So there was a lot of situations that was going on at the time that with a lot of live wires. So I don't know, bro. I don't know. It's just. I can't put that he was. I can't say that he wasn't. I wasn't with him.
When you get this kind of information, are you getting it from other bros that are saying it?
From other brothers.
From other bros.
This is other brothers.
So these are legitimate sources that are saying it.
These are brothers. These are neutral brothers. These are neutral people. Remember, like I said, I was locked up with a lot of different. We was talking about this recently. Like a bunch of us that was in jail at the same time that we still communicate, still have talks and stuff like that. And everybody says Pete used to be a king at that time. Now we're talking about the 80s. You know, I wasn't a king back then, so I can't speak about something. You know what I mean?
You became one in what, 89?
No, I became king in 91. 91 going into 92. Yeah.
91. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not people just talking shit just to say that he was or anything like that. It's like,
I mean, if you've seen, there was a video of some dude. What he got a channel where he's a nutball, and he's calling him a burger. That's what the Bloods used to call us, some burgers. And he's on the video calling him, he's the biggest burger of them all. So why are you using that dialect, you know? Because that beef that they saying was a king beef. That beef supposedly popped off in Kasaki was supposedly is supposedly a king beef. I don't know. I wasn't there. Like I said, these is all the assumptions that the podcast world now is talking about.
Do you spend a lot of time watching that type of content on YouTube?
Sometimes if I'm at work and I'm bored or something, I'm doing something, I throw on some of the stories, the old stories where some of the dudes be talking about certain things, because I was there in certain instances. Like I told you, there's certain instances that we laugh about because they'll tell a story and I'll be like, what the fuck? That shit didn't happen that way. And I call my man, I call June or call different people and they'll be like, yo, bro, you remember this? Because we was all on the island at the same time. You know what I mean? You remember this shit? Or I call VI and I call different people and they'll be like, because VI's in a lot of the stories. If you heard about the Rikers Island stories, he's supposedly the one that cut the grandmother on the visiting floor, whatever. So
why don't you hook me up with some of these people to do interviews, man? Come on, man.
I mean, listen, I didn't know you was into the jail stories. I thought you was just the Cuban Link channel.
Hey, come on. I'm trying to expand now, okay? I'm trying to become more than that, all right? Shout out to my brother Q.
Yeah, shout out to Q, bro. But yeah, bro, it's a lot of different things. Like I said, bro, it was a lot of different. Look, if you look at it now, with the majority, every jail you go to is Bloods in every single jail, right? Problem is that they're all beefing amongst themselves. So it's like the larger you get, you start imploding. What happened to the Kings? They started imploding. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like a lot of the Kings from my generation moved on with their lives. Like a lot of the co-defendants, dudes just came home from doing 25 years, 20 years, 20-something years, almost 30 years in prison from the first indictment. Remember, they all went down in 94, 93. Right. They just coming home now. You think they're going to go back into the streets and get back into? No, they're all trying to live a productive life and catch up the time they lost, you know, with their kids, with their families, with their loved ones. So a lot of the Kings have evolved. That's what people don't understand. Oh, they're not, bro, we still there. Everybody's still around. Just we doing what we supposed to do. I'm not in the streets. I'm not doing none of that dumb shit. Listen, I stay on the sidewalk now. You know what I'm saying? I go to work, I come home, I go out. You know what it is? It's like I said, I live a life that I like to be peaceful. I don't want problems with nobody. I don't like none of that shit, bro. I chill with my dogs, certain circle of friends, and that's it, bro. You know what I'm saying? And my kids, you know, I missed a lot of time in my kids' lives, you know what I'm saying? So I just make sure that I don't do anything stupid to ever put me in that predicament to have to go back to prison. That's why, like we spoke about with the Hocus thing, I'm almost 100% sure that Hocus wasn't doing anything to lose his freedom because he got a second chance, just like I got a second chance. So when you get those second chances, like S1 wasn't as lucky because he had to do a
16.
He wasn't that lucky, but he did get a second chance still to different chance at life because there's a lot of individuals.
He's still young.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of us that take that and do something positive with it. There's those dudes that come home and again, they trying to catch up. There's dude that was in jail with us back then. He came home from doing fucking 20-something years and he just got convicted of triple homicide. So it's like,
oh my God.
It's like, bro, some people just don't know how to leave certain things alone. They get caught up in the system and they get institutionalized. And sometimes our pride makes us do stupid things and bad decisions. So now you got to sit back and analyze and think about, yo, is it worth me doing that stupid shit, losing everything I worked so hard for to go back to prison? Man, listen, you know what? I'm staying. If I got to go and, huh?
No, I'm saying right.
Yeah, if you got to go somewhere and wherever you going that day, you have to take something with you. Why would you go to that place if you know you got to take something with you? For that, stay home.
Exactly.
But when you're young and you have that aggression and you have that pride, that ego thing, I'm going to go wherever the fuck I want to go. So you definitely going to go there, even if you got to take a chance and take something with you because you want to. I'm not afraid. But as you get older, you like, yo, bro, I got too much to lose. You know what? I'm going to stay home. That's it.
Did you have a relationship with King Kato from Chicago?
I met him a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to come to New York. He used to go be at his sister's house in the Bronx. That I met him a couple of times, but
he had family in New York.
I don't know if he had family, but I know there's a sister that's one of our sisters.
Oh, when you say sister, okay, I got you now.
She was a Queen sister, and she was originally from out that way. She's from like Chicago, California. So every time the bros from Chicago used to come out here, they used to go to her crib, and that was like her little headquarters. So, you know, me and June, when we was running around, we bumped into Kato at her house a couple of times in Castle Hill. Bumped into him a couple of times, and we spoke a couple of times. We were supposed to go to Chicago, but it never happened. And, you know, then he passed away after that.
What was his aura like? Like, you got good vibe and everything?
He's a real dude. He was a real dude. Solid dude. Solid dude. He was about his bread, too. It's definitely about his bread. Definitely about his bread. I didn't believe the story about Kanye West carrying his luggage. And it came out that it was true. I thought he was like exaggerating.
Oh, he told you that personally?
Yeah, he was talking about it over there. They were talking about Kanye West and whatever. And he was like, man, that dude used to be carrying my luggage and shit.
That's crazy. Yeah, because then I saw what was his brother did an interview, right? And he spoke about that.
Yeah, that's true. That was no, I heard it from multiple people. It wasn't even. It was from multiple people, so it was like, it was bugged out because, you know, you know what's crazy? It's a small world. It's such a small world because you meet somebody that all of a sudden, like this is a couple of years, like or maybe like a year and a half ago, met some good bros and stuff from out there, and we're sitting there and they're like, oh, you Cano? Yeah, boom. It just comes up. And hold up, that's my family. That's your family. No, blood family. I'm like, oh shit. We start talking. It's like, oh, you know this dude? Oh, hold up. You the one that they met out here when they came out here? We start showing pictures. He's like, yeah, I know him. And it was crazy because it's like, it's such a small world that
6 degrees of separation.
Somehow everybody knows everybody. And it was just crazy that we never met each other, but we knew so many different people around each other's circles. And then the funny thing is that he knew people around our circle out here that's around post circle music. And it's like bugged out, bro. It's like, you know, I'm not going to get involved in names, but it was just so bugged out. Like I was like, yo, he fucked my whole head up. We was drinking at some little spot in the Bronx and shit. And it just fucked my head up because the whole night we was just talking about that shit. And it was just like bugged out. You know what I'm saying? It was just a bugged out situation.
It's crazy because they were saying that Kato bought like the equipment for Kanye, and he was like trying to do like some musical things for him.
Yeah, he had a producer. He had a producer at his studio. He had a label. I forgot his label's name. Damn, it's been a long time, bro. I forgot the label that Kato had, but supposedly Kanye was producing for him.
Right.
Kato was caked up, bro. He was caked up. He was definitely caked up. You know what I mean? He was definitely caked up. Definitely caked up.
So I saw this video online saying DMX had deep ties with the Kings, especially King Kato. So did you know about that?
That was his dog. Him and DMX was mad tight. Every time that X would go to Chicago, Kato go over there with like 6, 7 Suburbans for the Kings to hold him down.
Wow.
Yeah. And then when he moved to Arizona, Kato was over there And there was a bunch of bros from Chicago that moved to Arizona and was running around with X over there, that later on some of them became Rough Riders or whatever, but they were bros at the time. It was bugged out. I think it was Dinero Records, something like that. I think that was his label, Dinero Records, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I know that like when Kato passed away, X did that song Ayo Kato.
Yeah.
And in the video he had his wife, right? In the video too at the end.
Yeah. But Ayo.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of bros there. It's sad. It was a sad situation the way, he went out, But yeah, he was definitely that guy out there, you know what I mean?
So there's also a rumor that there was a time in Chicago where the Kings wanted to get at Ja Rule, and DMX saved his life during the time that DMX and Ja Rule were beefing. And there's a video of DMX saying, "I saved your fucking life. All I got to say is Chicago. Remember Chicago."
That's because when the Kings went to pick up DMX at the airport, there was like 8 carloads, like I said, Suburbans, full of bros, and them bros out there don't play no games. They on go time. Kato's crew was on go time, and I guess Ja was there, and he was by himself, and that's why X said he saved him, because all X had to do was like, all he had to do was like,
the bros spoke dog too.
All he had to do was all he had to do. And that shit would have went down, bro. That's probably why he was saying that. X had a lot of love for a lot of different people, bro. Like, I'm gonna keep it real, bro. It's bugged out because I met X before he was X when I lived in Yonkers High. And he was always beatboxing. I just remember him beatboxing all that shit when, bro, this is fucking like 85, 84.
Wow.
Yeah, because he was like 1 year ahead of me in Yonkers High. And then next year they closed down Yonkers High. And they sent us all to, some of us went to Lincoln, some of us went to Roosevelt, and it was all over the place. And I never saw him after that till he blew up. And that's when one of my peoples that used to live in Slow Bomb told me, like, I was talking to him. He was like, "Yo, you seen this guy?" I was like, "Who's that?" He was like, "Yo, that's Earl." I was like, "Earl?" Ooh. She's like, "DMX." I was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And then when I started, I was like, "Oh shit!" So it was bugged out. It was bugged up, and I went to high school with him.
Wow, that's crazy. So, like, you heard the actual stories about the situation with Ja Rule?
No, I heard about that shit through fucking other people. I didn't hear about it like from Axe or from fucking Kato. I heard about that through other brothers.
Right. That's what I mean. Like other like reputable people confirmed
that was a story that was floating around through the circles. If you was somebody, you knew about it.
So do you know if like they remember like Ja Rule's reaction or anything to that situation?
Nah, I don't remember that. All I know is that I know the bros was there and they was waiting for X to give the word. That's what
Damn, that's crazy.
No, but yeah, I don't know how his reaction. I mean, you see a bunch of Spanish dudes pull up, you know what I mean? And they got all these fucking dudes pulling up, and it's like 8 Suburbans, and them dudes run around with the Suburbans out there. They call them crashers or whatever, because that's how they, in case they get blocked in those blocks, they be running around with them big ass Suburbans jacked up, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So imagine pulling up at an airport and you got beef with this other rapper, and he's got all these money, got you outnumbered there. Shit. I'm surprised he ain't turn around and go back in the airport.
Yeah, I don't care how tough you is, man.
Yeah,
you
that's
see that pull
bro.
up, you're not beating those odds, bro.
Nah, come on, bro. I don't give a fuck if you Superman.
Right.
Fuck out of here, bro. But yeah, I heard about that story. I heard that story several times from several different people.
Wow.
Yeah, that shit was telling you, they loved X. X had a lot of love, bro. X had a lot of love. He even did a song with some bros from Yonkers a few years before he passed away, with FaZe, and there was I forgot the other brother's name, but they did a song with X did a song with them and everything. X always showed love, bro. I'm gonna keep it real. X always showed love.
Did you ever talk to Kato about DMX? No, okay. But did you meet DMX again later on in life?
I never got to kick it with him and laugh about that situation. I think one time we went to a studio. I forgot what studio we went to. I don't remember if it was in New Rochelle, and he was there recording. Because one of my peoples was messing with all the Rough Riders out there from Long Island, and I went out there to see him for some bud and shit. And he was there and just said what's up, whatever. But we never kicked it. Like, yo, I used to go to high school with you. I mean, I didn't want to sound like the guy, hey, remember me? Right, we used to go to high school back in the fuck out of here. We ain't never had the opportunity to. It would have been a funny story, but he might have turned around and be like, yo, what the fuck is
this? Yo, man, I didn't know you could do voices like that. You could be a voice actor, bro.
Yeah, bro, that shit was it. Bro, it's just like, he's just such a fucking, like, the shit was excellent. Yeah, bro, excellent. He was actually one of my favorite rappers, bro, at one point. Like, yo, he definitely brought that energy to the game and changed the game up at a point that the game needed it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I know people criticize his later work and stuff, but the first 3 albums is like untouchable, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like he came with that shit. It was crazy.
X had a lot of demons, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to look at, like, he had that hunger. Who else dropped 2 albums in 1 year? Both of them went platinum. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he broke a lot of records. And remember, he brought that energy back to New York. Because at the time, it was the West Coast that had, you know what I'm saying? He brought the torch back to New York with that energy. Before 50, he was the one that had light that shit up. Man. You know what I'm saying? And then G-Unit came after that. But X definitely was one of the ones that really brought that energy. He had that energy like back in the days. Onyx had that energy because Onyx was like one of the first ones to bring that.
That kind of yelling and stuff like that style.
Shatterhead, all that crazy shit. So Onyx had that crazy energy when they first came out and brought that wild energy. And then X, it looked like he just took like part of their formula and just fucking ran with that shit. And it was just like, bro, that energy was just crazy. You remember, bro, they used to put his songs on in the club. The whole club used to be shaking, bro. You felt like the walls was going to come down the way the energy was in there, bro. It was definitely, it was a sad day when he passed away, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Have you heard stories of people telling false stories, on YouTube and everything like that, and then they end up having to pay consequences for it, like within the realm of New York and stuff? You know what I'm saying?
That they got to pay for what? For the lies? You mean for capping?
Yeah, for capping and like.
Dude, there's a lot of dudes that tell fake stories, my dude. Like I told you, look, I don't want to get involved in it, but a dude told a story about a beef that he had, and he told the story, and I was there. But he wasn't. And he made himself be part of his story. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? And that happens on multiple things. Like there's certain dudes that were coming out. Not recently. This is like maybe like 5 years ago when all the jail story shit was going on. Certain cuttings and certain things. You gotta understand, like, prison is like the fucking newspaper. You know what I mean? Shit will happen on the street. And people in jail find out before you do on the street.
That's crazy.
Believe it or not. Yo, somebody I know passed away, and I didn't even know this. And my man calls me like 2 hours later, whatever. He called me from the feds. And he was all the way down in Kentucky. And he's like, yo, you heard such and such just got smoked? And I was like, what? What? He's like, an hour ago. I said, what?
An hour ago, shit.
And I'm like, yo, bro, they know more that's going on in prison than the street do. Because remember, out here, we caught up in our own. The only reason that a lot of the times now we're caught up with certain current events and certain things is because of the fucking phone, the idiot box. Because now the Instagram, the YouTube, the Facebook, you're always attached to the fucking phone. You're in the bathroom, you're on the phone. You're fucking bored in traffic, you're on the phone. So that's when you get a lot of this fucking algorithm, different things. But if you don't pick up the phone, if you're busy, you won't know what's going on. But in prison, them dudes know everything that's going on, bro. So if something happens in a jail, like right now, some shit pops off from whatever, Attica.
Yo, you think they watching Panda Chop in prison?
I'm pretty sure they do, not for nothing. I'm pretty sure they do. You know why? Because in the feds, they got the tablets. There's tablets now. They got the videos. Matter of fact, one of the bros came home. He said he saw your interview with me on fucking thing.
Shit.
I swear to God. He said, yo, the only reason I looked at it is because it said Lion King. So, I went on this shit and I seen your picture. So I watched the shit. I said, what you thought about it? He said, it was cool. It's cool. It's cool. He said, you'll be playing politically correct, but it was cool.
That's crazy, man.
It's not that I play political correct. It's like, you gotta understand something, bro. I'm the type of person that if I wasn't there, I don't like speaking other man's story or telling, like everybody want to talk about, they want to put Pete on a hot seat, right? Again, we'll go back to the Pete thing. And he told what he felt was going on. But remember, we talking about something that happened in 88. My dude, do you remember what you was doing in 88? I could tell you part of a story from 88, like, bro, like we was talking about DMX from 80, 85, 84 in high school. I didn't remember. I just remembered him because he was always beatboxing and beating on the fucking table in the lunchroom. I can't tell you any other story about him, but that's the only thing that I can remember. Bro, we talking about almost fucking 40 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, how you going to remember something like every word for word detail? So certain things, it might look like he capping or whatever, but he's telling the story how he's telling the story. And obviously when you're telling a story, sometimes you get caught up in the moment and you're like, yeah, this happened. And I went, oh yeah, and I did this and oh shit. And then it don't mean that he was lying. He just telling his version of what he, you know what I'm saying? I saw the rebuttals, some of the rebuttals, and dudes was like, yeah, he ain't back down to police, but he did scratch the dude. He ran up on him while he was in handcuffs with the police and scratched the dude. Okay, he didn't back down the police, but he still cut the dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's different versions of the thing, but it doesn't make him any less of a, you know what I'm saying?
Cuban was saying that story actually he heard belongs to Blue Boy.
What? That he cut the dude when he was in handcuffs?
No, the whole flag thing.
No, that was a different story. That was in Comstock. Blue Boy did the same thing. Nah, there's a different. Blue Boy did something similar.
Oh, okay.
Something similar. You know, the flag thing, this is not the first time I heard Pete say the thing, but again, he said the Puerto Rican flag. One of my peoples that was there said it was a yellow flag. So.
Oh, was it a king flag?
So maybe he just switched up what it was and made it, I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't there. Somebody that was there told me that story. He was like, nah, he threw up the yellow flag at So I was like, oh.
Well, what did the person that was there say, though? Did they confirm at least some of the details of what he was saying?
They said that he ran down on a dude, and when the dude was in handcuffs, he yammed him. They said the nigga kept it funky. They was like, Pistol kept it funky. That's what I'm telling you. Like, I've never heard sucker shit like, you know what I'm saying? You know, certain stories that I've heard about him, I've never heard sucker shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, the politics of who's the real Pistol Pete, who's not. You know what I'm saying? I know, you know, a lot of people get caught up in that. I just, you know, I don't know Pistol from the street. I don't know him from jail. I know the stories from jail because he was around certain people. Like I said, I was in the HDM when Chicky Boo was there, when Leo, Green Eyes, Jimmy Lee, Caballo, you know what I'm saying? When the war was Skelly and all them, you know what I'm saying? There were certain times I could say that I was there. You know, VI was there. Ice was there. Fucking, there's certain people that could turn around and be like, oh shit, yeah, I remember Cano. Cano was there. Oh, Stackwell was in this jail with me. You know what I'm saying? So I could just tell you, okay, boom, man, you know, we in jail. Oh shit, your man. Blue Boy was a maniac when he was in jail. Blue Boy was a fucking maniac. You know?
Were you around Cuban when Remy came back into the picture during her trial? Like, what year did you start hanging out with Cuban?
Shit, I can't even see. Now we talking about years. I don't even remember. I know he still had the MOB deal when we started dealing with Cuba.
2005 is when he released Chain Reaction.
It was right around that time we was dealing with Cuba. Well, he had the deal. He was popping when he came to our studio, he was popping. He was popping right there. At that time, he was popping. He was with MOB. I think he had just did the Don Almighty. I'm almost sure he had just did the Don Almighty song around that time when he came to the studio.
The Scandalous joint?
No, yeah, the Scandalous joint.
Okay.
So,
all right, so then you were around when Remy came back into the picture when she had the issues with Joe.
I was there when we went. I went there to the studio with them when she went to record at ET Studio in Jersey.
Oh wow, okay. So that was that the diss song that sampled In the Air Tonight?
That was the diss song where she walking through the hallway, and it was, I guess, KR used to have a studio there, and she ripped the KR poster, and she was Remy. Wow, Remy's a little wild, you know what I'm saying? But that was like one of the times I interacted with her, you know what I'm saying? I didn't stay for the whole session. I just came through, and it was a little bit crowded, so I was in and out, you know what I mean?
How would you say the vibe was at that time for her? Because the way Cuban describes this is that, you know, he hadn't interacted with her for like years since he had left TS. And then like she came running asking him for help when she left Joe.
I don't know, bro. To be honest with you, I can't really say because I've never been around her before that to say. You know what I mean? I know they was talking about G-Unit and how they had her in some type of weird contract where she couldn't sign with certain people. But like I said, I really didn't have too much interaction. I was in and out on that I didn't really, wasn't my business. So you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
But you can confirm that Cuban was trying to help her at that time?
Yeah, we spoke about it. Me and Cuban spoke about it. He said he was trying to get a deal with Artie from MOB.
Right.
I know he was trying to get her some paper for that before she went in. Like I said, I don't know the whole interactions because Cuban has his own relationships with certain people, but I do know that he was definitely trying to get her deal with Artie.
What do you think about like all the stuff that she's currently going through right now with Papoose?
I mean, that's something for privacy. I would never put my relationship out there like that with certain things like that. I think it's sad because they were like the epiphany of what, you know, a relationship was, but that's
Black
the
love
picture,
and everything.
Right. That's the picture that we got. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody always compared them to, damn, look at that relationship. Like, I'm going to keep it real. I take my hat off to Papoose because any man that holds his female down, you know what I'm saying, during incarceration is not easy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
They always say, though, that it's more common that you see a woman do it than a man.
Right. That's why I said I've never really seen too many dudes hold it down like he held it down. So that's why I give him a lot of respect for that. So, you know, like, I don't know, bro. To me personally, I'm disappointed. Like, to see the interactions that's going out, like their personal business to come out like that on the internet is sad. You know what I mean? But who am I to judge? You know what I mean? That's, you know.
Yeah, I think, though, like, it is sad because those type of things always get worse when it's handled publicly. You know, it should be a private matter, especially
because there's a child.
Because they have a kid together, right? So then it's like eventually that kid's going to be able to go online and look it up.
See everything. And then, you know what I'm saying? And then she might get spiteful, not let him see his daughter, or, you know what I'm saying? It just turns into like bitter tit for tat things, you know what I'm saying? And it's like some of us have gone through that in previous relationships. Like now I've grown, so I would have put myself in that predicament. You know what I mean? I would honestly, me personally, I would have ignored it, but I guess he got tired of the ignoring it and had to do what he had to do. You know what I'm saying?
It's really hard because like we don't know everything, right? We just know what is made public. So obviously in the public eye, we see that Pap really did hold her down, but like she's saying the opposite, that like it wasn't really like that. And then you don't really know.
I mean, we're talking about what she's saying is financial, that she was holding down the fort financially the whole time. Is a relationship really built on finances? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep it real. Me personally, I'm up north and you sending me bread. I don't need you to come see me as long as you sending me bread and you picking up my calls and all that. But for somebody to actually be coming up there every visit, bro, you're big. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what time do you really got to do in jail? Every day you on the dance floor. So it's like, you know, I just think, like I said, it's a sad situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because Cuban was saying that during that time, like she didn't even have any money and that she even asked him for a loan.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I can't, like I said, I can't speak about that. You know, but at that time, Cuban was doing all right. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be, you know.
Do you believe that Pap wrote 90% of her rhymes though? Because you were there in the studio and Cuban said that he saw her write like on her own notebook. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the only one that me personally, like I said, will probably be the Nicki Minaj diss. It sounds
Everyone's
like,
saying that. Why do you think that?
I don't know, bro, because like it just felt like she was reading something, reading it. It wasn't like
She was performing it, right?
right. It just didn't. To me, it didn't sound natural. It wasn't like you know what I'm saying. Like obviously, I've been in studio with different artists that write their verses, and you might be reading it, but you already know the momentum of the verse, how everything's going. It just sounded like she was just like on autopilot.
But
On
also,
that verse.
it was like right after she had got out, right? So like she was a little rusty.
It could be that she's rusty, but like I said, I wouldn't know. I mean, I've seen Remy Ma battle at different battles before, and I don't know that.
Wait, you saw her like you were physically there?
Yeah, we was there. One of the battles, I forgot if it was Lady Luck. We used to go to all of the joints years ago, bro. When Gloria Velez was rapping and all them. But Remy used to spit fire, bro.
Yeah.
So I don't know, bro. Like I said, that I can't. Maybe he helped her. Like, you meet in the studio. Like I could say, yeah, what rhymes with this? And look up and you'd be like, oh, this. That doesn't mean that you wrote the whole verse. You might have helped through the word. There's artists that get stuck with certain words and a word doesn't come to them, and you be like, they'll be in the studio and everybody's there, and they'll be like, yo, bro, what goes in there? And they stuck, and then you be like, this word. Oh shit! Boom, boom. You know what I mean? So I don't know, bro. Like
I can see like maybe like some ideas, like concepts,
exactly,
like
ideas, concepts,
but like maybe entire verses and songs. Like I don't know. Like I feel like that's kind of discrediting Remy's like lyrical ability. Because like she grew like from what we've known from her, she was battling, like you said. So like I don't know. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, when it starts getting crazy, because now they're going tit for tat on different things. So, you don't know what's true, what's not. He might be telling the truth. He might have wrote, but if he did, he should be getting paid for it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, bro. It's
messy, right? It's like a messy situation.
It's very messy. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, like when people will look at Remy more, she hit more of a star quality than Pat. You know what I mean? To me personally, she had a little bit more. Pat is like a spitter. He's like a bar.
Right. He's a true lyricist.
But now, can you name a song that he put together with hooks and everything that's in your memory bank? But now you hear him spit, you're like, oh shit. You know what I mean? It's just different styles, different everything. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. That was a hard one to say. I just think that there's a lot of stuff going on. I don't even want to touch with that.
What are your thoughts about the Hocus 4/5 RICO?
Sad. It's sad because I know for a fact that Hocus moved to get his life together, and he left a lot of things behind, and he left the street life alone when he came home. He turned into a whole different person, way of eating, way of everything. I haven't spoke to Hocus in a very long time, but just the way he was doing things, you could tell he was honestly changed his life. And to get caught up in something like that, you know what I mean, is sad. You know what I mean?
The dog.
He coming and hold it down,
Yeah. Everybody want to be on Panda Chop.
Oh man,
even the dog.
She letting y'all know, y'all come over here. It's dinner time.
I don't know Hocus like personally. Like we have like a good rapport of like what's up, and like we do interviews and stuff like that from time to time. But it's like, but from what I know, right, it seemed like he just focused on doing his job with Uber,
raising his kids and doing what he has to do.
And he does content. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't really seem like that. So if you had to ask me for my guess, I would say that he's not doing anything like that. You know what it is sometimes when you're doing content and you hit the wrong nerve, you don't know who's gonna press an investigation on you. You know what I mean? So, I know he does a lot of conspiracy stuff on the rabbit hole and stuff like that. So you don't know what's going on. He might have rubbed somebody the wrong way, said something somebody ain't like, a conspiracy theory somebody ain't like, named somebody he ain't like, or maybe they just like, oh, he beat us. We ain't letting this go so easy. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just sad because from what I know, you know what I'm saying?
He wasn't. He moved to get away from all the bullshit. Why would he go down there to get involved in some bullshit? You know what I mean? It just seems, hopefully, everything works out and he proves his innocence. You know what I mean? It's just sad because it's going to cost him a lot of money because freedom ain't free. So it's going to cost him a lot of money.
And I told him that, like, when I saw that that video when he first announced it, that he had got picked up by the feds, it looked like somebody that was just kind of like exhausted, because nobody at this age, his age, later ages, want to go through something like that, even if you innocent. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of time, a lot of money. It's a big inconvenience, bro. Nobody wants to do that.
The only thing that he's lucky is that he was able to bond out and not have to lay up and prove your innocence from behind bars, because that's something that, trust me, I went through it. You know what I mean? I was on Rikers Island for 3 years and change, 3 trials. Trust me, I know what it is. It wears you down physically, mentally. That's why I know for a fact that I don't think he was going to be involved in anything like that. You know what I mean? It's like a sad situation, It's, I wish him all the best, though,
What do you think about the situation with him and Whack 100?
Man, listen, that dude, why you want to put me on that? You want to make me a target?
What do you mean?
I don't know. It just seems that everybody that goes against that dude ends up in a bad predicament, bro.
Oh, so you basically are confirming what
I'm not confirming.
was saying,
I'm not confirming nothing. I'm just saying.
That's what he kind of alluded to, right?
Look,
That's what he alluded to.
I'm sitting outside. I'm an audience member looking from the outside in. It just seems that everybody, it's like everybody that go to war with 50, who you ever see win a battle with 50? It's very difficult. I've seen very
Rick Ross is probably like the only one that survived.
Okay.
I would say.
Okay. Okay. But other than that, ain't too many people. So, Whack is another dude that, he just, I don't know, bro. I don't know him personally, so I can't speak. I'm just saying from my observation, everybody that he goes against, bro, he's the only one standing there. So it's like, I don't know. I can't,
Your reaction says it all.
I'm just saying, bro, it's just crazy. I doubt he has anything to do with it. Like, let's be realistic. A lot of us just throwing the conspiracy theories out there. Bro, somebody over there probably got caught up in some real derelict shit, and Hocus has a name. So, of course, they threw him in there to try to work a deal. And that's probably how he got caught up. That's how investigations get caught up. But after they see that he ain't had no phone contact, no email contact, no physical contact with any of the co-defendants, supposedly he don't even know none of them. You know what I mean? It's like, why would you be involved in a RICO charge when you have no physical contact or even affiliation just because they're part of something, but you don't know them? That don't make no sense.
Yeah, that sounds crazy, man.
You know what I mean? Like, that shit is just, it's just like they just throwing everything in, throwing it at the wall and seeing whatever sticks. And, that's what they doing lately. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you got to be real careful what you're doing in these streets and who you pissing off. That's the
not just truth. The physical streets, but these YouTube streets too.
No, bro, why you think I'll be leery about getting on any of this stuff? This stuff is crazy, bro. Like, a lot of this stuff is self-incriminating. A lot of these dudes want to get up here and beat their chest, and then they regret what they say. You know what I mean? People are recording you. Everything you say nowadays, you got to watch out for. You're in the street, you're having a phone conversation. It's not just the feds you got to watch out for. You got to watch out for the dude next door, person across the street. It's just...
person that you're on the phone with.
That's even more, because everybody is some weird, to me, I'm gonna be honest with you, that's some real federal informant shit. If you're recording my conversation without me knowing, you a fed. You a snitch. You know what I'm saying? All that, I'm just doing it to prove. Doing it to prove what? My man, if you got something to prove, put somebody on 3-way. Let's have a group conversation, and there's no need to be recording conversation, because when people, record conversations, to me, that's some real snitch shit. You know what I mean? I never sat there and recorded somebody's conversation unless we're in the studio or somebody calling from jail and they tell me, yo, record that. I'll record it or something like that. But on some sneaky shit, just, look, I'm going to blow him up. Nah, that to me, I just don't come from that generation. You know what I mean?
What did you think when you first saw him and Cuban going at it again?
surprised. I thought it was over. I thought they had squashed their differences. You know, to me, it's disappointing because I know how tight everybody was in the circle at one point. You know, and I kind of fuck with both sides, so it puts me like in a predicament. Like, you know, I just don't like it to be put in that predicament. You know what I mean?
Yeah, where you have to like pick and choose and stuff like that.
I mean, I don't do that. I'm gonna be real. I don't do that. I don't get involved in stuff like that, especially when it's in-house. There's been in-house situations that I just don't. I don't do that. I'm not gonna do that. You know, y'all gotta figure it out. Maybe this boxing match is the best thing for both of them to get it off their chest and build friendship again after that, because after that you're held accountable. You know what I'm saying? After that fight and y'all got it off their chest, there should be no reason why anybody's talking about anybody. You know what I mean? Either one.
Well, Hocus's main thing, he said, is like every few months Cuban drinks and starts throwing shots over there, which Cuban admitted. He admitted to that.
Cuban gets flashbacks, bro. What you want to do, bro? He goes through that. Bro, Cuban goes through that, bro. He'll be chilling for months on end, won't think about a person, and something sets him off, and there you go. He's back at it.
Well, because, you know, that's the thing, though, right? Is because, like, I thought it was over, too. When S1 came home, I was like, you know, he was on that other podcast, and then Cuban was on mine, and Cuban had apologized and everything. It looked positive. It looked like everything was headed in the right direction, right? Then out of nowhere, this came again, and I was just like, wow. And Hocus had admitted, or he said in my interview, he said that at the beginning of the year, he told S1, like, if Cuban disses me again or says something, I'm going to invite him to fight.
Right, he's not going to stay quiet because he's not going to stay quiet. He's tired of it. You know, it's like when you have an argument with somebody and they keep bringing up the same thing you did over and over and over and over and over. All right, I did it. What else I got to do? We already, you know what I mean? Some people just don't know how to let go of things, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like I said, to me, it's disappointing to see all the chaos that's going on, you know? As long as it's something positive. To me, boxing, I mean, brothers fight, bro. Friends fight. People argue, you know what I mean? Sometimes the person you fight with, you turns into your closest friend because y'all learn how to respect each other. So, you know, it might be the best thing for them at this point. You know what I mean?
It's just hard because it's like,
why not make some money at the same time? Why not make some money at the same time? Because I'm pretty sure they're not fighting for free. So take advantage of it.
It's like, why can't you guys just get on the phone and talk like all this time?
Because it's machismo. It is, you know, some people just don't know how to let go of it. Some people don't want to hear "I'm sorry" or "my bad." You know what I mean? They want that. They want that energy to be like, ah. So, you know, it's the reality of it, bro. Sometimes you don't want an apology. Like, fuck that. I don't want to hear that shit. Show me with actions. Words don't mean nothing. You know what I mean? But like I said, with them, it's sad, bro. Like I said, it's a sad situation because, you know, that group had so much momentum at one point, and it brought a lot of different neighborhoods together, bro. You got to understand, it wasn't just, you know, the Bronx. It was Long Island. It was Brooklyn. It was a bunch of different people involved. You know what I mean? And it was just like a sad situation. You know what I mean?
But who you got winning?
What do you mean?
Who you got winning in the boxing match?
Fuck out of here. Oh, fuck out of here. I ain't doing none of that shit, bro.
I know you're not going to answer. I just wanted to mess with you and say that.
Fuck, bro. I mean, bro, if you want to go like, all right, listen, bro, and I'll tell you like this. If it's in the goes the long run, I don't know. Hocus is young. He's very good. He's in shape. If it's a short and catches him with a haymaker, listen, I don't know, bro. Like I said, it's gonna be one of them fights that I wouldn't put my money up on. You know, it's like a Knicks game.
It's a Knicks game that I want to go see.
Shape, though. Huh?
You see, Cuban has gotten into shape though. He like actually working out.
That's what I'm saying. That's what something good came out of it. Look, something good came out of it. It motivated him. I seen he lost weight. You know what I mean? So listen, bro. I think at the end of the day, if they could both get a bag and both feed their family at the end of it, and both shake hands at the end of it, and move on from it, that'd be a wonderful thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the thing is, right? Like, have you seen that? Like, Joe has started to talk about it though. Like, he was like in Hocus's comments and like being like, "Yeah, trust me, he's too easy." Saying that Cuban is easy to get knock out, and like he's like, "I handled it." Like he's like, "I got my money on Hocus and stuff." Like all these years, you don't talk.
But everybody roots for people on their side. I mean, it's like a sports event. You know what I mean? Like
I know, but all these years he refused to talk about Cuban, really, right? So then now you doing it don't look good though, because it's like you encouraging somebody else to take on your fight when you know it should have been you giving Cuban a fair one all these years.
I mean, that's the fight I would have wanted to see.
Right?
That's definitely the fight I would have wanted to see. But, you know, at the end of the day, bro, it's like, you know, I don't know. Your enemy is my friend. You know how that saying
right.
goes.
And Hocus said himself, he said that, come on, man, this man been getting his back kicked in by Cuban for so many years. Of course he gonna wanna, you know, feel.
I mean, look, he been quiet all these years. Technically, he ain't done an interview or anything and come out straight up and said anything directly. So he thrown a few shots.
Well, he did on Drink Champs, but that was like a while back now. It's been a while, yeah.
But that was a whole, I had to watch what I was playing on the thing. When you came in, we didn't want you to come in with the music and all that. Like, I don't know, bro. Like I said, with that whole shit, I would have definitely wanted to see Joe and Cuban go at it. That would have been definitely a fight.
That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen.
I mean, what does Joe have to win?
Yeah.
He's got more to lose in that fight than to win. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it doesn't make sense to him. It's like, why would 50 Cent turn around and fight somebody that's in the hood talking shit about him? You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make, or like one of his past affiliates or something like that. It don't make sense. You know what I mean? Like somebody that's up here, or like Jay fighting somebody that from his past is talking like, you know, is D-Haven or whoever. Right. It just don't make sense, bro. Like, you know what I mean? When you get up here, then we could talk. Then we talk, but you're not here yet. You know, it just doesn't make sense to me, you know, like.
So Cuban said that Hocus's RICO case has caused some issues for the fight because they were originally supposed to have it at Lehman College, but now they pulled out because of the RICO, and now they got to look outside of the state, basically.
Well, they're probably scared of publicity and stuff because it's college campus, and they don't want to get, you know, whoever the promoter or whoever's doing it, the insurance is going to be a little bit higher. You know, it turns a little bit more complicated when there's things like that involved. That's even with certain artists. With like certain artists, they don't want them to perform. They'll make it harder for the thing. So I don't think Lehman College wants to get involved and get caught up in any controversy. So, you know, you can't really blame them.
Right. But I mean, that's unfortunate because like the whole, you know, name Rumble in the Bronx and everything like that, it was like so perfect, right? And then now this, like, it's like, that's whack.
I mean, it depends, because I think they were trying to do the sales tickets and all that. They might be able to do like a closed location and do a live stream, you know what I mean, somewhere in the Bronx. Who knows, you know what I mean?
It's
I don't know.
It's not going to be as good. Come on, man. You know you're supposed to attend that and have your fur coat and your fur hat and everything to match. You come in there looking like Frank Lucas and shit.
Nah, I'm good, bro.
No, but you would attend it, right?
I don't know, bro. I don't like to see friends fight, bro.
Cano, you supposed to go, man.
Yeah.
You know I'm coming in there with my Panda outfit, right?
I know you're gonna be holding the numbers and shit. You're gonna come in round one. I know, round two.
Okay, you got me doing the bitch roll. Okay, come on, man. Fuck you.
You took it there. I ain't take it there. You took it there.
Nah, but you know, the fans were a little concerned. They were saying like they were worried that with all the beef that Cuban has, that this could look like a setup. Not that Hocus' side would set him up, but like TS or other people come in.
Keep it real. I think if niggas try to jump Cuban or something there, I don't think Hocus would let that go down. I don't think regardless of the differences, nobody pumping like that. Those dudes are solid dudes. They don't pump like that. I doubt they would let anybody jump anybody. You know what I mean? It's just not. It's not. The way from what we learned from them and been around them, they don't pump like that. They got an issue, they come at you straight up. That's not. And anyway, after all these years, you really think somebody gonna go there with all the feds and police and everything just to get at Cuban? Cuban be in the streets all the time, bro. Somebody really want to get at Cuban. Bro, Cuban's not the hardest person to find, bro. He's definitely not the bro. Not too long ago, my man called me. Yo, I just seen your man. I said, how you know? He's like, oh, he had the hat tilted to the side. Oh, I was like, oh. In the Bronx. So I was like, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, where are you? He was over here by Hunts Point, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, shit. But it's like, he's not that hard to find, bro. Cuban be around.
Yeah, S1 said he's all like, I don't think that's going to happen because with an event like this, the amount of security and everything. That shit
is not, it's not going to happen, bro. It's not going to happen, bro. It's not going to happen, bro. Especially maybe in the crowds, there might be a little bit of ruckus or whatever. But to get to actually physically, nah. Just too much security. Nah, I don't think so. I highly doubt it.
All right. Well, what did you think when you saw the video of S1 going off on my son?
Well, I knew you was going to put me in the middle of this.
You are our extension of Bang Bang Boogie, okay? Come on, man. You're like... You know, you was there.
I mean, with Mice, there's been tension in the group a few times. You know.
What, you talking about with Red Child?
Yeah, with Red Child.
You was there?
Oh, not at the actual fight. That fight, I know they was about to fight. Another time when we was in Long Island at the outside of some studio, there was a situation there. But, you know, listen, some people just don't get along, bro. Some people just, everybody can't get along, you know.
Okay, but what did you think of the video, though, of S1 going off on him? Were you surprised when you saw it?
I definitely was surprised, but, you know, it sounds like S got a lot of things that he wants to say, and he hasn't been able to speak to him, you know? I really don't know the situation. I really don't know the situation, bro. Like, I see, you know, with me personally, with the relationship with Mice, I called Mice a few times to do a few things for me. He never said no. He always got on tracks. He always, you know, he was always willing to participate on whatever I had hit him up to do. So I never really had no bad relationship with Mice. You know.
How many years ago was this, though?
Yeah, but how many years I haven't been around doing the music? You know, people evolve, you know. Some people change. Some people get bougie. Some people, you know, I don't be around like that in the streets like that. Or in the clubs like that. You know what I mean? So, you know.
I know, but we have to judge because of right now, this is how the new Myson, how he is now basically interacting with S1.
He's also trying to go like almost into, like I said, I don't really know the extent of what's going on. You know, I know Mike used to go visit him. You know what I mean? So I really don't know the situation. Like I said, I don't like getting in the middle of all that. I just been seeing a lot of stuff, but it sounds like S got a few things he got to say to him. You know what I mean? Right. And, you know, and if somebody's throwing shots at you, and you can't physically see the person or get in touch with the person, you're going to do the next best thing. You're going to get on him. You're going to vent so that person can hear it and be like, all right, so now you know how I feel about you, bro. So now you could either reach out to me or come see me. So that way we could either, one or the other, we could talk about it and move on from there. But, you know, it's just like the same situation with Hulk and Cuban, you know. Hulk felt like this guy keeps throwing a little, so he going to respond. So that's how S probably felt like he was throwing a few shots at him. So he responded.
Well, he ended up apologizing after the first video, and then he went at him again, right? Right. And he was narrating the video of Mice fighting that guy, and I think in the hotel lobby or something.
Uh-huh.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, that shit was pretty funny though.
It was funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
It was funny. I didn't comment on it. I'm not gonna be an instigator, but it was funny.
Well, when I interviewed S, he said Mice told him, yo, I can do this for you. I can do that for you. But when he got home, it's like there was no follow through. And I think that people need to be a little more careful when they say certain things because it's like people depend on that. You know, they take your word for it.
Man, roll the clip.
Yeah, no, what I was saying was that like by him coming to see you and saying like, yo, I can help you do this. I could put you in this position. It set like a unrealistic expectation for you to feel like, yo, my brother really got me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you thinking, okay, like this is a real one. This is what he's really saying. But then when it's coming time for action, you didn't really see that. So then, of course, I think anyone in your position would feel a type of way.
Yeah, of course, because I know myself. But 15 years is a long time. You know, people change, the heart change, the mind change. Every day we're changing, growing, developing. And if you don't want me a part of your evolution, cool. But tell me that. You can just be like, yo, S, right now I'm doing what I'm doing. and I'll get back to you another time, or we'll chop it up later. Just, somehow give me some type of, I'll holler at you later. Right now, I can't embrace you, but don't ignore my phone calls. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that.
Right. And I think though that, sometimes people do things like that if they feel guilty. You know what I'm saying? They know that like maybe they should be doing something for you, or should they told you something, and then because they can't do it, then I don't know. But I think the best way is always to be transparent, right? To be forthcoming with so that the person knows exactly. So they're not thinking like, damn, like, the mind can wander and start to think all types of stuff.
Yeah.
Especially coming from prison, because that happened to me a few times, while I was in prison. I did favors for certain people and they promised certain things. And then when you come home, you expecting that because a man's word is his bond. And then when you come home and then it's empty promises, you feel disappointed in the person, but more than disappointment is anger, because you was dependent on that, those things that was promised to you to be able to move forward. That's why sometimes it's better not to depend on nobody and just, I learned to do that. I learned that the hard way after I came home, not to depend on anybody. You know what I mean? The only one I ever depended on was my mother, you know what I mean? Because no matter what, she was always there for me. But other than that, I ain't really depend on nobody.
And I think that's what Hocus told S1. He was all like, bro, like, fuck everybody else. Like, you just got to do it on your own, But I just think that, like, to my son, it might not be anything, or to a person in that kind of position where it's like, oh, I said that, but it's not a big deal. But it's like to the person that is like, you're saying it to, like you said, they're hanging on to that word, right? They're like,
man, listen, it's a lot of things is out of sight, out of mind. You know what I mean? It's like, that's how life is. When you're in prison, it's like you buried alive. Life around you moves on, but you're still stuck in that time when you went in. So it's like any little thing that happens, those memories, friendships, everything you hold on to. So all those years you're in prison, you're still thinking about those friendships and those relationships and the promises and stuff. So when you come out, that's the first thing you're thinking about. So, you hold men accountable for their actions and their words. That's the only thing we really got in this life is our word. You know what I'm saying? And our actions, that it's just the way it is, bro. You got to stand on your word. Whether you're right or wrong, you got to stand on it.
Would you say that like time stops for you when you're in prison because like, you're just in that same position, but everybody is like growing and doing other things and moving on with their lives, right?
Yep.
So would you say that like can you understand both sides of it?
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you got to look at it like this. What does anybody owe anybody? You got to look at it like that. In life, I feel like nobody owes me nothing now. If you tell me you're going to do something for me, I'm going to hold you to that. Now, if there's a legitimate reason why you couldn't do that or whatever, I understand. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people sell people dreams while you're in prison. Females, people, all type of people sell you dreams. Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. And then when you're really dependent on it and they're not there, that shit is like, I get where S is coming from, you know what I'm saying? Because I've been in that. Mike's been there too. So that's, if anybody should know the situation, Mike should definitely know, because Mike definitely did a bid. And he didn't do a little short bid either. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. They both men, hopefully they could come to terms and work it out. People grow apart. A lot of people grow apart. There's a lot of friends I haven't seen in years that, just because I don't see them don't mean we aren't cool, but we definitely not as close as we used to be because life goes on, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, man. I can only imagine too, when you get out of prison, like you feel like you got to catch up, right? Like you got to play catch up. Like
I mean, that's the worst thing you can do. To be honest with you, that was the first time I came home. I came home with that mentality to catch up, and I went right back to jail. I wasn't even out 30 days and I went right back.
But that's a natural way for people to feel though, right?
Because you come out and everything's moving so fast and everything's going around you. Like it's like you trying to catch up with everything that's going on because you haven't adapted to it. And it's just like, bro, that's the biggest downfall there is. You know what I mean? When you come out and you just hit the pavement, bro, it's like you get all the temptations come your way. It's harder to do the right thing than it is the wrong thing. You know what I mean? People don't understand that. Like, you come home and get a job, get up in the morning, do all that. You programmed already from prison. So the getting up in the morning and going to work and all that, that's not the problem. The problem is the people next to you with the temptations. Like, yo, bro, I got this crack for you. Fuck the hit. Boom, I got this for you. Yo, I got this. I got that. And if you're not strong enough to say no to those temptations, bro, you're going right back where you came from. You know what I mean? So it's that catch-up thing is very, very dangerous, bro. That catch-up thing is like, I think that's the biggest downfall for everybody that comes home. I think 85% of the people that come home go back doing that catch-up.
Wow.
Yeah, because you're trying to get back to where you were, especially if you was somebody that had some paper, or you was somebody that had a name in the hood and was well respected. You know what I mean? You come home, yeah, all right, the first couple of days you come home, you know, one boy's gonna come, they're gonna buy you some sneakers, you're gonna get fly for a little bit, but then after that, what's gonna happen? Now you gotta, you know, you're a grown man, you're not gonna sit there and depend on somebody's handout. So now you want to get back in the position where you was at. So you want everybody to keep, you know what I'm saying? So it's just a psychological thing that a lot of people do, that catch up shit. Like, bro, it's like part of that revolving door, bro. You know what I mean? It's definitely harder to do the right thing. Trust me.
But it's
like
also kind of like that fear that you've been missing out all this time, right? Because you haven't been doing what you feel like you should be doing all this time, because everybody's done, you know, moved on and done other stuff since you've been locked up and kind of stuck in like one place.
I mean, a lot of that happens. Like when I came home, before I went in, that strip club wave and all that shit, I never saw that. So when I came home and I started getting, you know, the second time when I came home and I started getting around the music and getting around everything, bro, I got caught up in that strip club, going out every night to the strip clubs and going all that, because you're like, oh shit, this is what everybody been doing. This is what everybody been doing. And you start getting caught up in a cycle.
And you was drinking a lot too, right?
No, I started drinking like after I got off parole and I got into the music shit. When we got into the studio, because it's hard, bro. You in the studio all night, and every single artist that came with a gallon, came with a gallon. Bro, I had so much liquor in the studio. That shit was insane, bro. It was insane. Yeah, bro. It was crazy, bro. Because now and it's like, take a shot. And you get caught up in that drinking and smoking cigarettes and smoking weed, and it's like you get caught up in that whole little, you know, in that world, bro. It's like, that shit is...
Wait, wasn't your studio right next to where they film pornos and shit too? Yo, you had all the temptations around you.
Yo, bro, that shit was crazy, because in the building...
That shit was set up for you to fail, right?
Yo, bro, that shit was some funny shit. Because on one side of the building, we had the music studio. There was another music studio next to mine. And then... Shook White had took the other spot next to me. So Shook White had one spot with Mike Beck and then I had my studio. Then there was another little studio next to mine. And then on the other side of the building, they was doing like porn. That nigga Brian Pumper and all them. So sometimes down in the lobbies where the soda machines are, bro, you walk over there, there's a chick butt ass naked, getting water and fucking M&Ms out the vending machine. We're like, yo, what the fuck going on here? Like, yo, this shit was something else over there. We had mad fun in that studio though.
Yeah, yo, I heard you guys was running them trizzes.
Nah, bro, chill.
All right.
This guy. You feel... Everybody doesn't participate in those, you know, man, listen.
Do you feel like my son has distanced himself from Bang Bang Boogie? Like, why is it that he never talks about them ever?
I mean, he also pushed away from the streets, period. He's on a different level. He's on a political level. He's trying to fight, which honestly, that would probably be the best thing to do to get to the streets, would be through the streets. You know what I mean? People that are credible is usually those people that have good reputations and good relationships with people that are in the streets, you know. So I really don't know what the reason is. You never know who's there. I know when he was doing the Black Lives Matter, he's doing a lot of political stuff, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe he thinks it's going to hurt him being seen with certain ex-known whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, you know what I mean? So I can't. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying though, like, but if Fat Joe could be next to the vice president, right, and he got a bunch of goons and stuff like that, come on, you mean to tell me my song can't be next to S1? Come on, man.
You're going back to something that, look, Joe built a reputation from when he was first coming up. That's been Joe all along. Now is where he's trying to downplay his character. You know, with the, I don't want no problems, and I was scared. You know, the way he's doing his interviews and everything, he's downplaying, you know, his involvement in the streets and everything, which I don't blame anybody. You know, everybody changes, you know what I'm saying? Everybody has a right to change. I'm not in the streets no more. I don't be on that, all that, you know, you gotta lots to lose. But with the mice on and S1 situation, like, I don't know, man, dude, there might be something that happened that we don't know about, that S1 might not even know about. Mice might not even know what happened. Something might have just happened that just, you know, you don't know what it is, you know. I just think that them two definitely need to have a conversation, you know, because I know him and S had a good reputation, and I know Mice went to visit him, you know what I mean? So when somebody comes to prison and takes time out to come see you while you in prison, that means a lot. So I know S, you know, took that visit to heart. Like, you know, damn, that dude came to see me. So maybe that's why S is so disappointed or upset that, yo, bro, you came to see me. You can't pick up a phone call from me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know, bro. Like, it's crazy. Like I said, it just might be certain things that, or maybe somebody is in Mice's ear that told him, listen, if you're dealing with them, I can't have anything to do with you. You know what I'm saying? So you don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? People grow apart.
I guess I view it though, like the way that you originally said it, like in order to touch the audience that you know, the streets, is like, because like S1 wasn't doing anything bad when he came home, bro. Like he was trying to do the guns down, life up and everything.
Been doing the right thing.
Yeah. So,
but you know what it is? Again, Mice is doing the whole political, like, activist. Like, you don't really see him doing those programs, like the street programs, like, you know, Gloves Up and or the different, you know, the 914 United and certain of those programs that they're actually physically going into the prisons and actually, you know, doing the scare straights and all that stuff. You know, I think he's more involved on that political level of activism, you know what I'm saying? So it's different when you're trying to reach the street element and you're trying to reach the middle class and the richer class. You don't want to associate yourself maybe with the street element.
Yeah, but don't you think that he should have at least had a conversation with them and told them that then?
I'm not in that man's head to be able to think what he's thinking, you know what I mean? Like I said, there might be something that nobody knows about. It's just, like I said, at one point everybody was tight, you know, but there was also friction. There was definitely friction, you know, with certain individuals, you know. I never really seen S1 arguing with anybody. S1 was really the laid back, you know what I mean? He was always the coolest one out of all of them. Every time you see S, he had his glasses on. He was always in the cut, always smiling. S was it. He was very, you know, he's a cool dude, bro. I never seen no, like, nothing, bro. Hocus was a little bit more, you know, with a little bit more, you know. But he was just. It's just different. It was different because, like I said, S was the more cool. He was the cool guy. You know the cool smooth guy that had the shades, the smooth cool guy, and then you got the other one that just is a little bit rougher on the edges, a little bit more, you know, a little bit more vocal, a little bit more physical, you know. So it was like night and day, you know. It was just weird. And back then, you never seen S without his sage. This man must have had a closet to match every one of his sneakers. This guy had, bro, I'm telling you, bro. So recently is the first time I've ever seen S without glasses, because that dude had so many pairs of sunglasses and all name brand too. Bro, it was like bugged out.
Well, Cuban was saying that, like, why won't my son and S1 join as the undercard for Hocus?
Oh man,
it could become a whole bang boogie.
That shit sound like it's gonna turn into a fucking WrestleMania. Then you're gonna have Gilly jumping off the third row, hit the elbow, and AWOL's gonna pop out from behind the thing.
Wait. You see that you're going ahead. We're not there yet. Okay,
we're not going nowhere. But it's like that's what got everybody trying to make this a fight club, bro. Come on, bro.
Yo, just the other day, somebody was like, yo, you the Vlad TV of Bronx News, man. Like, you be covering everything that be going on, bro.
Bro, come on, man. I don't want to see none of them fight, to be honest with you, but you know what it is? Sometimes men need to get certain things off their chest.
Right, they need to get that aggression out.
You got to get that shit
Even
off your
just
chest.
5 minutes, and then they feel better. Now we
You
can
gotta get it
talk
off your chest.
level-headed.
You got to get it off your chest. You know, like I've had good friends of mine that I've actually had physical confrontations with. And I've had enemies of mine that I have physical confrontations that we actually got cool after that. You know what I'm saying? Because now there was a line of respect. Maybe the line of respect was lost. You know what I mean? And they just got to get that aggression out. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Yeah, but you know,
I think the S1 and Mike's thing is more like a conversation. I think Mike should be the bigger man and reach out to S1 and have a dinner. Let's go to dinner. You know what I'm saying? Let's go sit down somewhere and let's talk. Because I don't even think their situation that serious, you know what I mean? But once somebody starts taking little shots, though, it's like, see, right now, I just remember what you said with the whole shot thing and all that. You know, at the end of the day, we men, so you're not going, I don't know, man. That shit is just, you getting me caught up in this PANDA.
He's not coming out and saying any names, like he's doing it subliminally, you know what I'm saying? Which is like more of like a playing games type of thing. So I can see why someone like S1 would get even more mad.
Yes,
like,
because S1 just came from somewhere where you don't play games and everything you say is what it is, and you're going to stand on what you say, and he going to hold every person that says something to him accountable. And that's how prison is, and that's how a man should conduct himself. Like I said, Mike's did a bit, so Mike should know the rules of the game. Like I said, I don't know what's going on through his, like I said, maybe he's trying to change himself and leave everything that he felt was negative in his path. You never know what's going on. I'm not saying that S1 is negative or anybody, Bang Bang Boogie, anybody. I'm just saying maybe he doesn't want to deal with anybody that, that portrayed a certain lifestyle. I don't know, bro. Like, it is, I can't speak for him. Like, I can't speak for him. Like, it's a weird thing to see this whole thing going on. You know what I mean? The only one you don't really hear nothing about is Lord. He stays quiet. He stays off the internet. That man you don't hear nothing about. You know what I mean? And which is sad because he's fire, bro. He verbally,
Lord Tariq is fire,
bro.
Man.
He is fire, bro. He always had the ill fucking caters, the voice, everything. But.
Yo, but S1 said he got a diss track from Mice. He said on the Dear Mama beat, channeling his dead mom, basically. So this shit is going a little, it's a little serious. Even Cuban was all like, yo, bro, I don't know. Like, that's just.
Yeah, I'm not gonna speak about that because, my mama's not here. So
yeah, that's just a little.
I just, me personally, on a certain thing like that, there's certain things that I just, he's a man. S1's a man. He knows what he's doing. He gonna do what he gonna do. But that's something that I just won't do.
Well, let me say, I don't know for sure if Mice's mom is gone. I heard Hassan say that, but Cuban didn't even.
I don't know. I don't know if she is or she isn't. But I'm just saying. I know my mom is not here, so I know that I wouldn't. There's certain things I don't play. Even if she was alive, I wouldn't. Like, but what? My mom?
Yeah.
Mom Dukes? Well, it's like back in the days, how you used to get people to fight? You used to say the SMD. You know what I mean? Now that shit is so everybody's, you go to the Bronx and you meet a chick, yo, what's your name, Mom? Yo, SMD, nigga.
Yeah. It is weird when girls say it, though. Don't you think so?
Bro, it's crazy out there, bro. I can't even. That whole shit nowadays, like, yo, bro, somebody used to tell me that, I'll kill somebody back. I'll be ready to kill somebody. But now it's like, so everybody, yo, bro, I live on Long Island, so, you hear regular suburban kids using it. Mm-hmm. You hear the fucking plumber dude, the construction worker, that shit is just like, I'm like, oh man, bro. Now I just be like, I don't want. But you gotta be a
little careful these days, because if a girl's saying it, maybe she really got one.
Maybe she got the hammer.
Yeah, maybe she really do got one.
Or if you say
it, somebody might be like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be careful in these streets now, man.
I seen some video the other day where the dude was like, come on, pull it out. Pull it out.
Oh, hell no.
Like, yo, what the fuck? Yo, bro, it's like society is it's changed so much. Like, bro, what things that, you know, I'm staying away from this shit, bro. I'm staying away.
It's too much, man.
For real.
All right. Did you know AWOL and Cuban were having issues back then?
Back then, I know there was a little bit of a tension situation over a chick, like me and you had spoke about. But nah, AWOL was always around. AWOL was cool. I fuck with AWOL. AWOL's a fucking comedian. That motherfucker. He's one dude you don't want to snap on. Him and P.O., bro, those are people who, but, you know, not to get off the subject, but nah, all I knew that it was a situation about a chick. And then later on it came out that it was one of Will's exes or whatever. I knew the girl, whatever. But
she was dating someone from KAR before then, right?
Yeah. And
then she went back to KAR, but it's a different guy now. That's what I heard.
I don't know. Shorty was cool. Like I said, she was cool. She came around, you know. She used to work in what's the name of that strip club? Ah, fuck.
It's on the tip of my tongue too, because I did the interview.
It was a spot we used to go to all the time. We used to be there all the time. Oh fuck. I don't remember if it was Pink Lady or Sin City. It was one of them joints.
Sin City. It was Sin City.
It was one of them joints. She was cool. Like, she was cool people, you know. I didn't know AWOL was dealing with her. You know what I mean? I didn't know the whole situation, like I said. You know, the last time I seen AWOL, I think was at Phenomenon, and it was when Dollar and them came home. You know, Dollar was there, a couple of them was there, we was all there. But no, I really we didn't even speak about Cuban, you know what I'm saying? Actually, he did it. He asked me how Cuban was. You know what I mean? But no, I didn't know there was any tension, to be honest with you. I never really knew there was tension.
So I guess the whole situation was that, like, Cuban was saying that AWOL knew it was Big Will's ex, but he went and did it anyways. And like Cuban was like shaming him too much, like going, AWOL, no, and like waving his finger. And he kind of took it personal. I guess that's what it seems like.
Because Cuban's one of those people that, yeah, he does do shit like that. You know, Cuban's very... But thinking about it, I don't even really remember even AWOL really being around Will like that. To be honest with you, because most of the time when AWOL was around, like, AWOL was around when Will was in jail. Like, it was weird. It was like a weird thing, because I don't really remember them even being around like that, each other like that, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? And that's just, I don't even know if they was around each other like that. Finch, no.
Because Cuban was saying, like, he was like, yo, when Will went to prison, she was living at his place, and you know that was Will's ex-girl because you went to his place and like all this stuff. It just got like real, like messy. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I didn't know nothing about all that stuff.
Well, what did you think when you saw the video of AWOL making fun of Cuban getting punched by BX Hova years later?
What did I think about the skit that he did?
Yeah.
I mean...
You remember seeing it when it first came out, right?
I remember seeing it.
What was your reaction then?
I mean, he's a funny commentator. What do you want me to say? AWOL, I took it like he was doing a skit. I didn't take it because AWOL was the type of person, he'll start snapping on you. That's all they did, bro. When we used to go to the studio, be Gilly, P.O., AWOL, everybody snapping on everybody about everything. So I didn't really take it like he was like being like trying to dig in while he was down. I think he was just doing making like fun of, like making light of it, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like a skit. But is it touchy? Cuban doesn't really, he's not a very, you can't really snap on him. He takes everything kind of personal. So he wasn't really one of those that participated in the snapping and shit like that. You know, he takes things a little bit more serious. So, you know, maybe he just, you know.
But can you blame Cuban at that time? Because like the whole internet was already on his head and like it was embarrassing in a way,
I mean, you can put yourself, like I said, see the difference is that Cuban holds the word loyalty to what it is. He holds it to that word. Like, Cuban wouldn't have did the same thing. He wouldn't have. You know what I mean? But again, you're going with someone like AWOL because AWOL makes fun of himself. AWOL would snap on if I remember right, he used to snap on his son one time. He was snapping and joking about, like, he's one of those dudes that likes to make you know, when there's mad tension and you got that one guy that says a joke to break the ice and just from everybody fucking be like, look at this fucking guy, and just shakes their head and just has to laugh because it was fucking funny. That's A-Wall. A-Wall's one of those
the kind of guy that makes a joke at a funeral type of shit, or
to break the ice. Like he's like that's how, bro, A-Wall was cool as fuck. Bro, he was in my studio. That's all he did was joke. That's all he did. That's why he turned into Mr. Hee-Hee. Because that's all it was. Hee-Hee. You know what I mean?
You do have that funny ass laugh though.
Bro, that was Mr. He turned into Mr. He. You know, I could see it on both ends, like, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, it was a very touchy thing. Hell fucking yeah. Did I see Cuban? I didn't see Cuban get knocked out. I see Cuban take a hit, stumbled, and got back up. You know what I mean? I didn't see him get knocked out. Knocked out is, you know what I mean? But like I said, I didn't know what kind of tension. So there was already, I don't know if A-Wall did it in a malicious way. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I haven't spoke to A-Wall in years. You know,
right?
But I don't know. And you put up so many different clips that I didn't get to watch every one of them. So I really don't know what he said about that situation. But bro, honestly, like, knowing A-Wall, I think he just took something that was like, and just try to make light of it. You know what I mean? Like,
that's what he said though, because he said that he's cool
because that's the type of dude he is. I didn't know that he was cool with BX Hove. I didn't know that was cool. I didn't, you know what I mean? I think we met Hove a couple of times when we went to the Fight Club. So, you know, like I said, I didn't even know that Cuban had real beef with Hove, to be honest with you. I just knew he had beef with dudes from that block from over there, you know what I mean? I didn't know it was actually Hove, you know what I mean?
We didn't talk about the situation with Hove in the last interview, did we?
I don't think so now. Because like I said, there's nothing for me to really say about Hove. You know, like I said, I met him a few times with different people over there. I never knew that Cuban even really had beef with him. You know what I mean?
But what was your reaction when the video came out of Cuban getting punched, though? I
think Cuban slept and he got caught for it.
But were you surprised when that came out, or you already knew that it happened?
What, that it happened?
Yeah.
I already had heard that he got snuffed. I didn't hear that. I didn't see the video, but I had already heard about it. And then when I saw the video, I was like, damn. Like I said, it's just, but like I said, it's not like he took a loss. Like, you know what I'm saying? A nigga caught him. He caught him. You know, he shouldn't have fucking turned his back on a nigga. You know, you never turn your back on somebody.
Dudes take L's every day, B.
But that's the reality of it. Like, you know what it is that he gave him his back, and you never give somebody you got some type of tension your back because you don't know what's coming. And Cuban, he slept. You know what I'm saying? He might have been drinking. He didn't fucking pay attention.
He said he was drunk.
He didn't pay attention. He probably said some slick shit. Hove ain't like it. Cuban turned his back and it was like, and caught him. He didn't knock him out.
Cuban said that he basically told Hove, you know, like after he got drunk, like, why you cool with these TS dudes again after they stabbed you in the ass and stuff like that? And then that's why they started arguing.
So he kind of instigated it.
Yeah, but he said that it was because he was drunk. Like, he was feeling real nice, and that's what happened.
Yeah, he probably, like I said, bro, like that was Cuban's mistake for letting his guard down. You know what I mean? And yeah, bro, in the streets, you don't win every fight. You know what I mean? That wasn't even a fight. The nigga sucker punched him. He caught him. End of the day, he caught him. Did he knock him out? As hard as he hit him? Because in that video, he hit him hard as fuck. He didn't knock him down. He stumbled him. Nigga got back up. It is what it is, you know? You got to take him with the best of them, you know? I mean, I've seen Cuban can take him and give him out too, bro. Like, people be thinking that, you know, I never even heard anybody knock that man out, to be honest with you. I had plenty of scuffles with me and Cuban have fought a couple of times, not against each other, but together against dudes.
Yo, why didn't you tell these stories before, man? Come on.
It was because they dumb, stupid shit, my nigga. One time we was in the back of the studio, we got into some beef. I forgot who it was. He came running in the studio that they was trying to hop him. And me and Cuban was in the studio. We run out there. Well, I cold cock
They were trying to do what?
They were trying to jump. I forgot if it was Zay, something happened. And we was in the studio, we come running out, and I grab one dude, I snuff him, and then Cuban knocks the other dude down. And when Cuban's getting on with the nigga, that nigga's pants fell down because he ain't had no belt. And Cuban fighting with his pants. His pants is on his ankles, and he's fucking knocked the dude out.
Cuban's pants fell down?
Cuban's pants fell down, and he knocked the dude out with his... Cuban's pants was all the way down, so he couldn't even move, and that nigga just Cuban caught the dude, laid him out. I was dying, bro, and I'm fighting this other dude. Now, yo, I started laughing, bro, when I seen him. You know how they walk with your pants down? I'm like, this fucking guy.
Oh, my God, man. That's crazy.
Bro, nah, bro. We had a lot of fucking bugged out shit, bro. This shit was funny. Even the dude I was fighting started laughing. That's how funny this shit was. This shit was just... nigga, he knocked him out with his pants around his fucking ankles. That shit was funny as hell, bro.
So it's another time that you guys fought somebody.
Man, there's a few of them in the clubs, a bunch of different times, bro. Shit was a long time ago, bro. Why you want to bring up them? Let's talk about fun stuff. I don't like negative
fun stuff. People like hearing that stuff.
Nah, but fuck all that negative shit. That shit's just funny. Cuban's a funny character. He's a funny character, bro.
All right, well, AWOL said that Cuban always ruins relationships with people. What do you think about that?
I don't know. No comment on that one.
You know, you being politically correct. Come on, man. All right, but I'm let you.
Nah, bro, it's like, all right, if you have a real relationship with a dude, you know what it is? I'm gonna be real with you. If you got an issue with a dude and you fuck with Cuban won't fuck with the dude that you got an issue with. He's that type of character. So he expects the same in return. You understand what I'm saying? So
right.
If you're dealing with somebody and that person had an issue with Cuban and you're still dealing with him, I could see why somebody's saying that, it might ruin up your relationship because he might make you choose sides. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Cuban has very high standards of his friends.
He does. Because he has a very high level of what it is. Sometimes it's even a code that it's like, what the fuck, bro? But it's like, listen, if you got beef with a dude and you bring the dude around me and you squash the beef, before y'all squash the beef, I would have probably popped on him because you had an issue with him. But once you bring him around me, now it turns into a personal thing because y'all squashed the beef. And now if y'all start beefing after that, I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's between y'all two. You understand what I'm saying? Now, unless that dude brings other people involved into it, tries to do some grimy shit, then it might be a situation, but I'm not getting involved in that shit. No-oh. But Cuban's the type of dude, though, that if you got a beef and you call him or you got any situation, you call him at 2 a.m. and if he's able to go, he definitely will go. He is that type of friend. He is that type of person, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? So
yeah, because AWOL was trying to say that like even E.T. had an issue with Cuban and all this stuff like that.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, but then all of a sudden E.T. got in contact with Cuban and he wanted to tell his side and do an interview, and I got to get back to him too. But like,
you should. E.T.'s good people, bro.
Yeah.
E.T. did a lot, bro. I'm not even gonna front E.T. because my studio was a little bit out of the way, and I was dealing with a lot of different artists. He built his own. He built a studio in Jersey. He had his producers there. He had his engineers there. So he started taking a lot of the, because it was a lot for me, to be honest with you, because it was so many different artists and so many different people we were dealing with. It was a lot, bro. So when E.T. opened up the studio in Jersey City over there, it kind of took a lot of the bulk off of me. You know what I'm saying? Like from what we were doing, because it kind of like evened it out. Like it was like, Cuban started going more over there with Bang Bang Boogie. They was doing, because it's right there from the Bronx. To come to Long Island is a little bit further, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But E.T. was always a good dude, bro. I fuck with E.T. Anything I needed, he would send his engineer to help me out, or he would help me edit. Whatever it was, E.T. was a good dude. I didn't even know they had issues, to be honest with you. I never even knew they had issues.
Well, that's what Cuban is saying, though. He said that we never had issues and that AWOL was basically making that up. And that's why E.T. wanted to tell his side. E.T. was like, basically like, I hate that my name was brought into this.
Yeah, I never even knew they had issues. To be honest with you, I didn't know. I never even heard of it. Like, and I always, not recently, but before I used to ask them, yo, what's up with ET? And Cuban be like, oh, I haven't spoken to him in a minute, but yeah, I never even knew there was any issue or any tension. But like I said, I wasn't with them all the time. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of times when Cuban went to perform, AWOL would go with him and do the hype man thing and be with him. You know what I'm saying? In some of the things, I wasn't at every single show. You know what I mean? So AWOL was more on a day-to-day with Cuban. You know, they were both in the Bronx, both over there. They dealt with each other a lot more than me. It was when they came to the studio, when it was a show, when it was a video, unless Cuban called me like, yo, dumb bitch, I got something to come through. You know what I mean? And I'll go over there with the troops, and that was it.
Yeah, I think that ET's issue was more with Bang Bang Boogie because Cuban co-signed them, and he was saying that like a lot of them never like brought money back to him to, when they used the studio or like really like showed appreciation, that kind of thing. Man,
when you got a studio, bro, it's hard to get artists to pay for studio time to be. That was the problem that I had. I had certain people that used to pay for studio blocks, and I was so involved with Cuban and Raychester and Melly Mel and all the things that was going on. And then Zay had his artists that he was dealing with, and we had so much stuff going on that sometimes you wouldn't even be able to get the people that paid for the studio time. So it was hard to keep the studio doors open a lot of the times because you get caught up just trying to get the music going and getting everything out. And I get it. On a business standpoint, I get it. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
I think one of the most serious things that AWOL said was that he would tell Cuban, yo, let's go see Joe. You're going to be at this club. He was showing him flyers, and Cuban would say, like, allegedly that he didn't want to go see Joe.
Why would you bring that beef to a club knowing that you got all the fucking police there and you got all the shit there at the club? It's like you signing up to go to jail. You know what I mean? It's like you setting yourself up to go to jail. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. In the beginning, I used to be on the same thing. Yo, let's go boom, boom, boom. But then when you start thinking about it and you look at it like you're gonna go to the club, you don't even know if you're gonna get in there. You're gonna wait for him outside. You got the hip hop police outside. You got police outside. You do something to him, you're going to jail. So it's like, it's weird. You know what I mean? It's a weird. AWOL definitely used to be on Gold Time. That I tell you. You know what I'm saying? He definitely used to be on Gold Time. So.
What do you think about that though? Because a lot of times people criticize Cuban for that, right? They'll be like, yo, how can you be talking about this man for 25 years? You ain't never did nothing. Why didn't you go see that man and handle it like you were supposed to? If somebody had cut my face or blackballed me, I would have went and did something.
All right, let's be realistic. Do you really think it was Joe that even sent somebody to cut him? I don't think so. I think it was somebody that was in the entourage that wanted some points. But why would Joe, like, I think about it, and I've had conversations with Cuban about it. You know what I'm saying? And Joe had a lot of money involved. He was supposed to, or if Cuban's there, he was supposed to get, I don't know, 200, 300,000?
300.
Okay. I don't give a fuck how much money you got. You gonna throw that money away on some dumb shit? Like I said, I don't know, bro. I think with them it's more of a, you know who did it. You didn't tell me who did it. Because, you know what I mean? Is you know how that shit goes. You know,
when you look at the root of it, right, before everything hit the fan, it's really kind of dumb, right? Like the issues, it was very small. Like it seemed very small, and it just blew up to be something much bigger that it didn't have to be.
Exactly. I definitely feel the same way. Because at the end of the day, Cuban was the next one up. Joe got him the deal. What the problem is the misunderstanding they had probably with the money situation. You know, Cuban's lawyer called him double dipping. You can't be the manager and be the this and getting paid for both things. So when you start, with the paper situation and all that, there was some type of animosity, but that it went to I don't think that Cuban even thought it was that type of situation. You know what I'm saying, boy? Because why would you go by yourself or with you just one person to the spot, knowing there's that type of tension and, you know what I'm saying, and being unprepared? Like I said, bro, I just think it's something dumb that escalated, and somebody that was, you know, the dude in the background that just wants points in the entourage. He saw whatever was going on and he wanted to get some points with Joe, and he did what he did. Do I think Joe sent it? No. Do I think that Joe has something to do with it? No. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I don't know. I can't speak for Cuban on that situation because there's been situations where I had issues with certain dude and I know he was going to be at a certain spot. And it's like, do I go there and put myself and lose everything I got going on? Or do I wait till I catch him on a humble and do what I got to do? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, remember Cuban just had his daughter at the time. He wasn't trying to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know, bro. It's a weird situation. You know, I don't know.
Did you see recently an old interview, like about 5 months after the cutting happened? Joe is doing an interview and he talks about the cutting incident with Cuban and saying that man got to come see me too, the one that cut him. Like, why would I send somebody to cut him? Cuban was my homie.
I don't think it was his homie. I think he just did that to take off the tension or the eyes that were on him. But do I think he definitely, I don't think he sent that. I don't think he sent them to do that. I definitely don't think so. Because he was going to eat off Cuban regardless. You understand what I'm saying? He was going to eat off Cuban regardless. You know, he was going to get money off his next deal. He was going to get the money. So, you know what I mean? And if you look at the track record of everything that Joe does, it's about paper. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I definitely don't think that, you know, that's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? From being around it, on a business standpoint, I don't think he even acknowledged it because that shit brought him more heat than it did any good, to be honest with you.
Did you ever have any conversations with Cuban, like about, you know, going to see Joe like that?
Of course we did. Of course we did. And he's like, whenever we bump into him, Cuban's not going out of his way to look for nobody, bro. He's not doing that, bro. It doesn't make sense, bro. It just don't make sense. You're going to go, like I said, you're going to go to a club to do what? To go in? Half the time, 9 out of 10, they're not going to let you in the club. And then when you wait for them outside, you're setting yourself up to go to jail.
Mm.
It just, there's a time and place for everything. You got to be smart and strategic about what you do. When we're young and we do this, young, 19, 18, 20, I would have definitely been at that club and done some dumb shit. Because you got to prove, you got a point to prove. But as you get older, you think about it, you be like, damn, why I did that stupid shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
I definitely don't, you know, was it trying to make him look like what? That he was a pussy for not going there or something like that?
What, AWOL's point of doing that?
I mean, what was the point of bringing that up? With trying to make Cuban look like he was soft for not going there or something, or just saying that?
Well, I think that was kind of AWOL's point, was like, kind of like, you know, you've been talking about this man for so long. All the times I told you, let's go see him. You didn't want to.
I mean, there was a lot of people that was like that. My dude, the tension, Bang Bang Boogie was on go time, bro. I'm going to keep it real. They was on go time. We was on go time. It could have got real serious, bro. You know what I'm saying? Not for nothing. I'm kind of glad that Cuban was on that, you know what I'm saying, chill. You know what I'm saying? Well, we see him. Then because it could have cost a lot of us our freedom, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe even one of us our lives, you know what I'm saying? You never know. Right. You know, so it's like when you got a lot of different people's lives in your hands, as a leader, you got to think, am I making the right move? I mean, he could have been an asshole and sent us all on a kamikaze mission and been like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? And all of us go to jail. You know what I mean? But I don't know, bro. Like, it's strange because a lot of times Cuban be like, nah, that nigga's mine. That nigga's mine. Like, so it's like, I don't know, bro. Like I said, it's just a weird situation.
I feel like that's the way that Cuban described it to me. He was just saying that, like, I want to go handle it myself. I don't want to involve other people because then, like, you're going to be mad if I can't pay for your bail. You're going to, like...
Exactly. But like I say, AWOL, you got to understand, AWOL, Hocus, S1, all in my crew, we was all on go time. So if he would have said, Boom. Yo, we going over there. Bang, bang, buddy. We would have brought their people. We would have brought our people. And it would have been, you know what I'm saying? So thinking about it and doing it, it was, you know, he did it. I guess he did it strategically because he used to tell us, you know, when I catch him, he never really held people like, one thing is you chilling with the nigga and you hanging out with him and saying and fucking with TS and him, then he would have took it personal, but he never asked nobody to go fight his battles for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never seen him do that. But like I said, a lot of us was on go time. We was kind of knuckleheads, you know what I'm saying? We was all on that street thing. And, you know, we was all kind of knuckleheads, like again. But I don't look at him no different for now doing that, you know? There's a lot of people from my camp that used to say the same thing. Yo, let's go see that. You know, you always got that dude in the background that be like, yo, let's go. I handle it. Chill, bro. Bro, I used to have my little man Casper. Casper, rest in peace. Bro, he was a fucking maniac. That dude wanted to go up there and be like, yo, I fucking go in there and and be like, yo, relax, my dude. You know, jail dudes, you know?
Right.
So, you know, Casper, you say Cuban, chill. Niggas end up drinking, that was it. But, you know, you always have people around that was on that type of time, bro. You know, so, you know, I don't know.
So you were there when Myson and Ines had the battle, right?
Yeah, I was there.
All right. Well, what was your reaction when you were watching the battle?
The battle?
Yeah, the actual battle.
I mean, to the third round, it was kind of a tie. You know, Mice had one, Ines, but the third round is where everything got a little bit he kind of came out with all that stupid shit, you know. You catch another scar on your cheek. When he threw the little shot at Cuban, bro, Cuban's whole face, his whole demeanor changed, bro. His whole face changed, bro. You could see the anger, like what? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like, bro, that shit was crazy, bro. Like, it was a little tense for a minute, you know what I mean? But
well, you know, AWOL was saying though, like he looked at Cuban and was like telling him, like saying something to him, but then like Cuban was like, "Oh, it's just battle rap." Like he was brushing it off.
I don't know.
But you didn't get that vibe?
Hell no, because I know Cuban. I saw Cuban's face, bro. His face, bro. He was talking shit about it the whole ride home. So he was tight, bro. That nigga was tight. He was tight. He was upset.
So if you had to say who won that battle.
Who won what? The first three or the five? Because if it like I said, me personally, there was up 1-1. And then the third round didn't Myson like basically trip over like his words and like fuck up and shit like that? That's what I'm saying. So on the third round is when Ines went crazy with the whole throwing the hocus pocus and this and all the different things and whatever. And then Mice turned around and said, yo, my contract, whatever. So now when they went to if you go to the first 3 rounds, Ines got two out of the 3. If you go to the 5 rounds, the last 2 rounds, Mice was like freestyling, was chopping them up. So then it turned into Myson won the battle because of the extended version. You understand what I'm saying? So,
well, AWOL said that Mice cheated because in the beginning he was saying it was only 3 rounds. My contract only says 3 rounds. And then when he was losing, he said, no, my contract says 5 rounds. And then it seemed like Ines had only prepared for 3 rounds. So then at that point,
but he didn't back down though. Ines didn't back down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
What he was rapping in the last 2 rounds was more generic. It wasn't like towards Myson directly.
But Mice came battle. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like the first round, it was like I said, Mice 1-1, Ines 1-1. The third one is when Ines came back. That's when Myson tripped up on his word, and that's when this dude came dissing the whole Bang Bang Boogie. So if you go to first 3 rounds, I think probably Ines won. But then if you go to the whole 5 rounds, the battle, Mice definitely won because the last 2 rounds, Mice chewed him up. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I think that's more of he was on autopilot and he went back to battle mode and he went, you know what I'm saying? Like he let it You know what I mean? Like it was just a different thing. Like I said, if it was the first 3 rounds, I think Ines got it. If you count the 5 rounds, my song got it. You know what I'm saying? Because my song was going ball crazy at the last 2 rounds. You know what I'm saying?
So there's a little bit of a dispute over what happened after the battle. Cuban said after the battle, he was looking for Ness because he took that shit personally and was like going out to the area and asking, yo, you know where Ness is at and everything. And AWOL said that did not happen because you guys always stuck together no matter what. He didn't see him go anywhere or anything like that. But also he said if he did do that, he knew that the guys had already left, so he was just making a show of it, basically.
All I know is when, like I said, the last round, things were getting a little bit tense because Ines wasn't there by himself either, you know what I'm saying? So Cuban disappeared. I'm not even going to front. Cuban disappeared. Where he went, I don't know. He disappeared. When we was leaving, I couldn't remember. Cuban went with me. So I don't know where the fuck he went. So we're looking around for him. I don't know where he went. He popped up when we was almost hitting the doors when we found Cuban. And when we was in the car, he said that he went looking for dude. Did he go see him? I don't know. All I know is that he did disappear. He did disappear. And then when we was all leaving, we was looking for Cuban, and nobody knew where Cuban went.
But he did tell you I was looking for Ness.
Yeah, he said he went to go see if he saw him.
Gotcha. Okay.
He definitely said that. But like I said, there was so much shit going on. Like most of the time, Cuban was right next to him. It was me, Poe, Zay. There was a mob of us there. There was the whole 326 was there. There was a bunch of bros there. Bunch of Castle Hill dudes was there. Bunch of, Sex Money Murders was there. Yo, bro, we was deep as fuck. We was deep as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And we moved like a unit. We definitely moved like a unit. One went one way, we all went. But in the whole mix of all of that, Cuban did disappear. Where he went, if he went to the bathroom or he went to fucking go fuck some bitch in the back, I don't know. He did disappear. Because I'm not going to sit here and be like, yo, I don't know. I really don't know. I know he disappeared, but I know he went in the car with me. You understand what I'm saying? So when we was leaving, I'm like, yo, where the fuck is this nigga? And we couldn't find him. So when we ready up by the door, we all looking, he pops up. And was like, fuck you at? He's like, let's go. When we get in the car, he's like, yeah, I went to look for that motherfucker. I was like, whatever. When we was joking around about the shit, I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't know if he really went. This is what happened. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to take anything from AWOL. AWOL's 100% right. We moved like a unit. We was like an army. But did he disappear? He definitely disappeared. Where he went, I don't know. I don't know.
Cuban was saying that like years later, he had spoke to Ness on the phone and Ness was like, yo, you still mad? And like, they like, they laughed about it and everything was cool after that, but like, he was like saying during that time, he was really on that, like, yo, you say something in a rhyme, like we take it serious.
Nah, he took it personal. He definitely took it personal. And the funny thing is that we used to bump into Ines everywhere. That's the funny shit. When we go to Philly, we be with Petey, bump into him. We go to a fucking spot in fucking Jersey, we bumping into Ines in mad different places. But none of the time.
Was Cuban there when you guys were
that's what I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
Most of the time we went, we was mostly with the Philly crew. We was either with Petey and and Petey's crew and shit, you know what I'm saying, with Noxie and Mike Knox and that crew over there. But it was funny because we would bump into him, but it was.
Oh, you knew Mike Knox?
Yeah, I know Mike Knox. I stayed over Mike Knox's house one time when we got stuck in Philly with a snowstorm that we was going to Miami, and we ended up getting stranded in Philly, and I ended up spending the night at Mike Knox. Mike Knox is good people. I fuck with Mike Knox. Me and Zay got stuck in Philly, and we ended up crashing at Mike Knox's crib.
So you knew him during the time he was with G Unit?
Nah, this is before that.
Oh, okay.
This is before. I mean, he was fucking with Yayo at the time. He definitely was fucking with Yayo. And but this is before that. This is where he was around us when he was with the Men of Respect. When he was fucking with PD and
gotcha.
And Indy 5 and all of them, you know what I'm saying? And Don and all the PD's crew.
Have you spoken to Ray Chester?
I actually haven't. I reached out to him a few times, and he didn't reach back to me. I mean, I spoke to his old DJ. His old DJ had told me that he was doing good, but I reached out to him a few times, but I didn't get to actually speak to him. No.
It's a really unfortunate thing that happened with him, man.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we won't know what really happened. You know what I'm saying? But mental health is definitely a scary thing, because when it grabs you, sometimes you don't know it's grabbing you. You know what I'm saying? So it's fucked up. You know what I mean? It's a fucked up situation that you would even contemplate something like that, or thank God I never even contemplated anything like that in my life. Even when I was facing the elbow, that never even crossed my mind.
Right.
You know what I mean? But some people just, life grabs a hold of you and breaks you down and breaks you down and breaks you down. And sometimes you go down that rabbit hole and you can't get out of it. So, my prayers go out to him and his family,
Yeah, man. Shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to him.
So you know that he's recovering well, though?
Yeah, as far as I know, he was recovering. I know he was, they had him in observation for a while. So I don't know if he's out yet. But I know he was in there. Like I said, I reached out to him a few times. His phone rang and everything. I texted him, and he liked it, when you put the thumbs up and stuff, but he never responded. So, I guess when he's, in that place that he wants to talk about it, I'll be here for him. You know what I mean?
Do you, that, so he lost his leg?
No, he lost part of his foot from what I heard.
Oh, okay. So not his full leg.
No.
Thank God then, man.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a video clip of somebody's foot or whatever, and everybody's saying it was him. It wasn't on the 7 line. It wasn't on the elevator. It was in the underground train station. The video clip wasn't him.
Well, I guess for the people that don't know, the story is that he allegedly tried to kill himself, but we don't know that to be true or not. Right.
We don't know if somebody pushed him. We don't know if he slipped. We don't know if he fell. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't get to speak to him to get his version of events. Like I said, I spoke to his DJ and his producer, and he's the one that had told me that he was all right, that they had him in a hospital, and that was it,
Yeah, I didn't even know about it until Temperamental hit me up, and he was like, yo, do you still talk to Ray? Like, is he okay and stuff? And I was like, what? What's going on? And it's just like, wow.
Well, the funny thing is that him and Ray got almost like the same fan base. Like, they have those diehard, like, battle rap, because both Ray and Temperamental came up on that battle rap circuit, the Latin battle rap circuit. So a lot of their fan base, so it's a small community, believe it or not. So they know more that's going on. Their fans know more. Like, a lot of the information I got was from Raychester fans that reached out to me and was telling me what was going on before I actually got in contact with his DJ. His DJ reached out to me. But it's weird because it's like I said, they got they have them diehard fans, bro, that, it's just weird. Like, they knew more about what was going on than anybody else.
Well, man, I just want to send, some prayers out to Ray and his family, and I hope he has a speedy recovery and, everything is good from there on out, man, because he's a good brother, like.
Yeah, definitely. Prayers go out to him and his family, and hopefully he recovers soon.
Yeah. Comes back stronger, man.
Definitely.
What did you think of our first interview as far as the feedback from it?
It's funny. A lot of people, I have people come to my job and be like, "Yo, I know you from somewhere." So I'll be like, "What?" And then I'm thinking it's probably from the Queen's Flip thing or something. They'll be like, "Yo, you be on the Panda Chop thing." It's funny as that.
Yo, you should be. The Queen's Flip thing got like almost 400,000 views. Like, I would think people would recognize you from that too.
That's what I thought, you know what I mean? Because I know one of them got like 500,000 change. The other one got like 4 and change. So I was like, all right,
well, I guess
whatever.
maybe that one's older, so then maybe people don't like it. You know, it's like more of like a recent.
I don't know, but I mean, now it's like, you know, everybody's on that now, on that the real thing, I guess. You know how the reels come up and your reels pop up all the time. So, you know, I guess it just gets caught in the algorithm sometimes. It is funny though, because people will be like, "Yo, you be fucking with Panda Chop." Yo, everybody comes to me about Cuban stuff. I'll be like, "Yo, bro, oh man, what's up with your man?" I'm like, "I don't know, bro. Go watch Panda. Here you'll find out."
that was a long interview, bro. 5 hours. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah, I know. We'll be getting caught up.
Yo, that we just covered so much because you had like the gang and the prison side of things, and then you had the music side, of course, and all of Cuban's drama and stuff, you know. So it was like we had like a lot of different things to cover.
Yeah, and you always got them little hidden questions about things that you know about, and I'll be wondering how you know, but
try to call me a Fed? No, I just do my research, man. Okay. But you know what's crazy is the clip that got the most attention, right? Do you know what clip got the most attention?
Which one?
The Latin Kings, Frankie Cutlass, and Fat Joe one. That one got, like, it kind of died out for a little bit. Then out of nowhere, I saw it started getting a lot more views, like just recently too. It's like when I look at like the videos that got the most views in the last 24 hours, your video was always there for that one. I don't know why. It's like 700 views in the last day, 800 views or something like that. And it's like, it's at over 100,000 now.
I get commission? Send me my check, Panda.
All right, I'll send you $5. Okay.
I'll get a nutcracker with that.
Did you see the interview that Frankie did with the infamous Amadeus?
I did.
Okay. So he denied the snitching, right?
I mean, I never accused him of it. I just said it was a rumor.
Right. But no, I'm saying though, he said that. He said that there was a rumor that I had snitched and everything with my old gang, and he denied it. He said that he was cleared from it and that the main guy thanked God that he chose to become a born-again Christian. Who is the main guy he's referring to? Tone?
I don't know. The main guy of what?
Of the gang.
I don't know. I don't know if that's... At that time, like I said, there was a lot of shit going on. Tone came in after the Joe beef. See, a lot of people get everything confused about the thing that we were talking about. When we were talking about Fat Joe and the crew that he used to run with the Unity crew, Tone wasn't involved for that. That was the people that were running the nation before Tone. So their indictment, Tone didn't get caught on that indictment. Tone got caught on a third indictment, I believe, because the first indictment was blood and then it was a superseding indictment, and then the next indictment is where Tone's indictment came in. So when the first indictment went down, that's when Tone rose to power. So that first indictment, when the first indictment went down, is when the beef was going on with Joe in the Bronx. It wasn't really just Joe, it was a crew. From over there, from like Union and 156 and that whole area. It was an ex-pro that was dealing with that crew, and a lot of things was going on over there. Right. So I don't know, because people are getting timelines confused. Now, when the Frankie Cutlass thing came into thing, when he got stripped and all that stuff, I was in prison for all of that. So I don't know who he's talking about. He might be talking about Tom. I don't know. He might be talking about the previous leaders that was holding it down, because Frankie wasn't from the Bronx. Frankie was dealing with the Manhattan chapter. You know what I'm saying? That's where Frankie's from. He was dealing with the Spanish Harlem chapter. So,
got you.
You know what I'm saying? That's the chapter he was from. So I don't know who he's talking about. He might be talking about the people that were holding it down in Harlem. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I really don't know. You know?
Well, he said that the death of his mother and that situation with the getting kicked out of the Kings or whatever is why he decided to step away from music.
Okay.
And then that's when he found religion, right? But he said that Joe never blackballed him and he didn't get beat up. But he confirmed that some TS dudes did grip him up and one pulled the blade out, but he was able to escape from that unscathed. He said, like, I think his cousin did like some karate move and shit like that.
With the panda chop.
Right. I don't know, something like that. But it was interesting, man, you know, because it's funny because he was supposed to address all of that with me because he wanted to talk about the controversial stuff. I didn't even bring that up. He probably
thought that nobody was going to be around to dispute or confirm the story. And Frankie comes from the time when the nation was the nation. So at that time point, I mean, he probably did the best thing he could have did is just fall back and get his life together. You know what I'm saying? I definitely think he contributed a lot to what hip hop is at the time. You know what I mean? Because he was one of the first They had a lot of stuff going on at the time, you know what I mean? But
he produced a lot of great records, bro. Classic stuff. You can't take that away from him.
Definitely did. Freestyle and all type of different things he was doing. You know what I mean? And like I said, in one of the videos, he comes out with his beads on and everything. So he was representing the nation. I don't know the whole intricate situation. I know certain things because I was in tune. I definitely was in tune with what was going on. And he was told to stay away. And there's a misconception. It wasn't Tone that told him to stay away from Joe. It was the leadership before that. Because those were the ones that was beefing. Tone came into play afterwards. You know what I'm saying? That's when Tone was on the positive movement and he was switching up the nation or whatever. That came afterwards. Remember, this is before that. This is why everybody went down for all the indictments. So everybody got picked up. People from Joe's side got picked up on indictments and the pros got picked up on indictment. This paperwork on the whole case and everything. So it's not like it's something that's like, you know, you can research it and find out. The name of the gang comes up there. Everything comes up on certain situations that happen. You know what I'm saying? So.
But you said that it was Tone that stripped him, though, of the beads, right?
That's afterwards. Like I said.
Yeah, but afterwards, he was the one.
One thing led into another. One thing led into another. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, one thing, you're talking about a time period of maybe 3 years that was going on when the indictments was going on. Remember, everybody's in jail, and that's when Tone is running everything, and then Tone gets caught up and goes to jail. And then he gets out on house arrest. So with the time that before he went in is when the whole Frankie thing happened. And then I come home, and so it's like a thing with Frankie, you know. I don't know. Who knows if he wouldn't have left the nation, what would have happened? You know what I mean? Everything happens for a reason. You know what I'm saying? He found God. Maybe he blessed somebody. And listen, he didn't say nothing bad. He just, I saw his interview. He said that some of the stuff was correct, but some of it wasn't 100% accurate. It's not my story to tell. You know what I'm saying? It's his story to tell. So, you know, he didn't badmouth the nation. So I ain't got nothing bad to say about the dude. Like I said, I never seen paperwork on him. Was there rumors? Yeah, there was rumors and ugly rumors too. You know what I'm saying? And from a lot of people that was in prison. So, you know what I mean? I remember I was in jail at the time fighting my case when a lot of those dudes was coming into Rikers. So, you know, the rumors are coming in through those individuals, you know what I'm saying? That they're in there fighting certain cases, you know what I mean? And he's not. And he was part of the team at the time because he was part of the structure, you know what I mean?
I think that the interview with him would have happened if I didn't reveal to him that Cuban told me that the TS guys came back and said, yeah, we fucked him up. But because I told him that on the phone, then he was reluctant after the fact to do the interview.
He probably thought you was lining him up. He probably thought you was going to line him up, put him in a predicament that now he had to speak in detail about something. He might not have wanted to relive that situation, or he might not have wanted anybody to know about it, or who knows, maybe the story was exaggerated. Yeah. But I remember that shit was on the radio and was on everything. That shit was everywhere when that shit happened, supposedly. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that the radio was announcing that Terror Squad did beat him up?
It was a rumor. Yeah, I forgot what radio. It was a personality that had said they used to do the rumor shit. Ah, man, I forgot, bro. But that shit was everywhere, bro.
Wow.
That shit was everywhere. I think that's the reason that the leadership for the bros at the time had to make it a point to go check TS and let them know, yo, he ain't part of this, so don't think y'all niggas, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna be able to, you know what I mean? So I definitely think that was the reason why they went and addressed that situation to make it clear, you know what I mean?
Why Tone had that meeting with Joe and Pun, right?
Yep.
Gotcha,
Yep.
okay.
That's, you know, like I said, I wasn't there, but I'm pretty sure that's the reason was to make it clear that, yo, bro, y'all think that he's a bro, he wasn't a bro, so don't try that bullshit. You know what I mean?
You know, not too long ago, Frankie had posted something on Instagram, and he was saying like the fires was connected in California was connected to the fact that like they had an award show and they made a joke about Jesus or something. And they were like saying that this is retaliation when you make fun of God, that he shows you basically. And like he was like making it this whole thing saying like all these people,
a religious code type thing, a reckoning.
Right. And I was like, most of these people, like while there's celebrities that are being affected by this, right? You're talking about a lot of people that got nothing to do with that. So I was like telling him, I was like, bro, like, why would God make all these other people suffer? You know what I'm saying? Like these innocent people that are like poor and everything too. So it's just like the way that he was saying stuff, bro. I was like, man, you crazy.
Well, you know, some people just have, you know, they might be like fanatics, you know what I mean? Like they're religion extremists and they do certain things. And it's like the way they say things, oh, God's doing a reckoning. I mean, I feel like the whole world is getting a reckoning any day now because there's so much controversy and so much stuff going on worldwide. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I'm not a fanatic, so I can't. You know, that's on his part. He should have been a little bit more conscious about the words he used and chose to push his agenda, his ideology onto other people.
Because that's like real insensitive to the people that are suffering at that time. It's like nobody want to hear that shit right now.
It's jumping down a rabbit hole, bro. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like when you go to a funeral and they're like, oh, they're in a better place. No, the fuck they're not. They need to be right here with us. That would have been, you know what I'm saying? So it's like sometimes people are insensitive to other people's feelings and what they're going through and how they're mourning. You don't think about the other person till you're put into that situation or you're thinking about that situation. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to be careful with a lot of people that pretend to be what they are. You know what I mean? Because you got the people that go at night there at church talking about Jesus Christ, and in the daytime they fucking taking fucking bumps of coke and fucking or strippers' asses, and you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the hypocrisy is crazy. You know what I mean? Yo.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like people, it's like some of the people that say the worst stuff and gossip is really the people in church, bro.
Yeah,
you know,
bro,
the most
like,
judgmental.
They'll be on Sunday, hallelujah, but Friday night they just did fucking an 8-ball fucking in the fucking bathroom, fucking sniffing it off some prostitute's toes and shit. You know what I mean? Like, fuck out of here, bro. That's why, bro, I don't really believe in organized religion. I believe in a higher power and, you know,
personal relationship with God.
Personal relationship that I can speak to at any time. Like right now, right. I could be speaking to him while I'm talking to you and doing an interview. I could be speaking to him like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need a middleman. I go straight to the plug. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know,
I think that a lot of people are kind of like going towards that direction a lot more these days, though. You know, it's like becoming more common for that.
I mean, like I said, organized religion, it just, you know, who's somebody to tell you don't do this? When the ones that are teaching us supposedly the righteous way are sometimes the worst hypocrites because behind closed doors, they're doing all this crazy shit. And
yeah, you don't even want to bring up the kid stuff, bro. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy, bro. So a lot of times you have gangs that start in one area of the country, then it pops up in another area of the country, right? People say it isn't as respected as the Mecca. Would you say that's the same with like kings? Like there's a superiority to kings from Chicago versus everywhere else?
I mean, there's always going to be individuals that want to push that margin, like, but I never got that from the bros that I've met from Chicago. And I'm talking about, I met bros that are some, you know, bros. We're just going to put it like that.
Right.
And they never came with that superiority. There was a few that came. Some of them came with the, but I've always been embraced. Like a lot of the bros, because we always, any brothers that I meet, it don't matter where they're from, I always greet them and show them the same energy that they bring. If they come with respect, I'm gonna give them that respect. But I've never had that situation. I know a lot of people talk about, oh, there's a separation. Man, listen, it's different. If you live in one place, you can't judge the next place because they do things differently, because every neighborhood is there's different ways. Like, all right, for instance, like in Chicago is more street block oriented. It's like blocks, neighborhoods, blocks. New York, it's all over the place. It's not like one central. Yeah, you might have one block. There's a lot of kings on that one block for this. Kings everywhere. There's Patrias here. There's Bloods there. There's Crips here. It's not like Chicago. Chicago, you live on a block. You either rep that block or you can't live on that block. It's like LA. LA is the same thing. You know, there's even brothers in LA. You know, some of them, there's controversy obviously between, you know, are they legit or they not, but they rep Latin King and they're in there. But the difference is there's different politics in California that, you know, I'm really not going to get into the California politics, but California has different politics in prison and on the streets. So they are a major street.
You can't just have one blueprint and expect like everything to apply perfectly.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Different lifestyles and depending on the area.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It doesn't. It's just like certain places allow certain things like, let me see how to explain it. Like New York, there was like certain things that you're not allowed to gamble. But a lot of these rules are prison rules. You know what I'm saying? Because how do you avoid problems in prison? Biggest problems is gambling, because a lot of people ask bet or don't have the money to pay, or you got to collect the debt. So that leads to problems. So there's certain rules in place that are jail politics. You know what I'm saying? And in certain places, they're allowed to gamble. So New York has certain rules, and Chicago have certain rules. Florida might have certain rules. Texas might have certain rules. You know what I'm saying? Vegas got certain rules. California. So it has different. Every chapter has a different laws and different things. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. It is. I never went through that. Make a long story short, we never went through that. I don't see it like that. I think Chicago's always embraced New York. You know, yeah, there's been some type of controversies maybe with certain rules and certain regulations, but at the end of the day, we all brothers and it's all one crown, one nation, and I don't see that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, I could go to Chicago right now and I could call different sides and go hang out. Even one side might not deal with the other side, and I could go to both sides and chill neutrally in both sides. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get involved in politics. I just go wherever I go, I show my respect and I follow whatever rules they got going on. That's the first thing I make sure. What's the rules over here? All right, cool. I'm just visiting, or I'm just coming here on vacation. I follow whatever rules in Florida and wherever I go. And you might see me in pictures and everything all over the place with different bros in different countries. That's because I'm the type of dude that I ask, yo, what are the rules over here? All right, cool, no problem. And then you just got to respect whatever they got going on. You know what I'm saying? And that's it, end of the day, you know? And, you know, Ecuador is a little bit different because I wasn't used to certain things, because, like, you go to a pool, you take your shirt off. Over there, you know, when there's sisters around, you're not supposed to take off your shirt out of a sign for respect. So it's like they got certain rules in certain places that they just enforce differently. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you try to go to a bank in Ecuador with shorts on, they won't let you in the bank. They won't let you in the bank to exchange money if you got shorts, because you don't have proper attire. So these are rules that the government has and the banks have. So, you know what I mean? It's
culturally, different. Things are different everywhere. Exactly.
That's the word I couldn't find. It was culture. Yeah. It's just a difference in culture. That's all it is. But everywhere I go, I've had nothing but love, and I always treated them the same. When I went to Spain, I seen the bros in Spain. They showed me respect. When I went to Peru,
damn, you went everywhere, huh?
I mean, I was doing a lot of traveling with the music, bro. I seen a lot of the world, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I've been to Colombia so many times, I might as well have a passport for just that country. But yeah, I've been to with the bros in Colombia, in DR.
But that must be so cool though, right? To be able to see the differences depending where you go geographically. But it's like you guys essentially believe in the same stuff, right? Like at the core.
The foundation is always the same. The foundation, the core is always the same. Like I said, every place just has different cultures, so they have different rules in their culture. And that's it. And you just have to respect their different rules that they have. You know, it is nothing crazy that putting you against, oh, if you do that here, you're in violation there. No, it's not like that. You know what I mean? They just have different things. Like Ecuador, they don't smoke bud. So you're not even allowed to smoke bud. So I went out there with all the artists and stuff. They want to smoke. So I had to ask the big dog at the time, Majestic, rest in peace. He was over there and he was like, look, you know, bros over here, they're not allowed to, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a bro to your room. Whatever you need, you ask him. Don't leave the room doing it, or don't let nobody outside of that bro see you do that. So I respected it. So the bro came in the room. He was like, yo, we just want some bud. He's like, oh, that's all y'all want? I was like, yeah, we don't do none of that crazy shit, just some bud for some bud. So he was like, all right. So he went, he got us bud. And he was like, I could sit here in the room with y'all, but I can't smoke. So I was like, for real? He's like, nah, I can't smoke. I said, don't worry about it. Me and you go to the balcony, because I wasn't smoking at the time. So I was like, me and you go chill on the balcony and we just build. It turned out he was a pro boxer for Ecuador. He was in the Olympics, Sosa. He went to the Olympics and he fought for Ecuador. He does a youth training boxing thing over there now in Ecuador also. But yeah, that's how it was. It was that strict that, you know what I'm saying, that we had to smoke in the room like crackheads and shit. They had to smoke in the room. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't want the other brothers to see us doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because then they would be like, oh, why are they allowed to do it? That's how strict they were out there. They were mad strict. So that was just one example, you know what I mean? But other than that, bro, it's been, I've always had a good time everywhere I went. The bros always embrace me, and every country I've been to. Chile, like I said, Argentina, every country that I've been to where there's bros, because I always reach out to the brothers and be like, yo, there's bros over here, boom, boom. They always plug me in with somebody that's a bro, and yo, we having a show here, don't worry, come down and invite your family, whatever. So that's how I always mingle when I used to do the music there. I always mingle with all the brothers, and I never talk politics. That's the difference. Like, a lot of bros go there and push certain agendas. That wasn't mine was just, you know, spreading love, and that's it. Really, you know, come and get to know their culture, you know, trying different foods and different things and what they got going on. That was really it. You know what I'm saying? I definitely had an experience, you know. A lot of times, Poe went with me to a lot of those different countries too. So it was definitely you know, you see how poor certain countries are. Like, you know, in DR, you know, we was with the bros in the hood, bro, in the hood. And it was crazy. In one block, we was chilling there. Next thing you know, there's over fucking 300 kings on the block. We're like, oh, shit. I got videos. Yo, it started with 10 of us, and then you got 300 dudes over there. And we're like, yo, what the fuck? But the funny shit is 300 dudes, you know how much money it took to feed the whole block? $200. We fed the whole, $200 fed the whole block. We bought the whole chicharron truck. The whole truck with the frituras. Man, we bought the whole truck. Everybody was eating. Yo, can I take home? Can I this? Take whatever y'all want, bro. It was, yo, bro, it was nothing but love, bro. It was a great, like, I had a great experience everywhere I went. You know what I mean?
Man, that sounds like a amazing experience to be able to see that, though. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, it was cool, bro. Like I said, there's different sides of everything, bro. But it all depends on the energy you bring. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm at a point in my life that I want peace. You know what I'm saying? So anything that brings me negative energy or anything that gives me like headaches, I really try to stay away from. You know what I'm saying? I don't get involved in that. You know what I'm saying? I try to avoid stupid shit like that.
Peace of mind is priceless.
Yeah, bro. Like right now, bro. Like before, I used to beef with my ex-wife. I used to beef and with different people beef and all that. Bro, now I'm at a peak. If I gotta argue with you and I gotta be beefing with you, I don't need you. I'm not with that no more. You know what I'm saying? So I've grown as a, you know, as an individual. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, bro, when I go to Miami, because, you know, I got peoples in Miami. They got the other shop in Miami and everything. So when I go to Miami and I chill with the brothers show me nothing love. I don't get involved in. See, the important thing is never get involved with neighborhood politics. As long as you go in there just to spread love, show love, how you doing? let's go out to eat, show love to the bros, and you keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
It doesn't concern you. Like, don't get involved in stuff that don't concern you.
It doesn't. It's like, I don't get along with this dude because this dude did this and this dude did that. Yo, my brother, you know what? I'm just here to see how y'all doing. I want to have a few drinks with y'all, get something to eat. You know what I'm saying? How's the family? How's the kids? What y'all doing over here on some positive shit? Or word, y'all doing this? Y'all renting jet skis? Y'all got car rentals? Y'all got all that beautiful. That's what it is. A lot of the bros is involved in that. They're involved with they rent out jet skis, or they got one bro got jet skis, the other bro got boats, yachts that he rents in Miami. Another bro got fucking luxury vehicles that he rents. Another dude rents his jewelry to people to go to club. Yo, it's bugged out, bro. The way shit is crazy. Dudes will come and drop a couple of bands and go rent your jewelry. It's bugged out, but there's a lot of different bros got their own. Everybody got their hustle, which I respect. You know what I mean? So that's all it is. They come to New York, I fix their cars. That's what we do.
So when I interviewed 10 Toes, right, he also said that in prison they would poop like in bottles, pee in them, and let it ferment.
And spray niggas down, shit you down. I never did shit like that.
But you saw it happen,
motherfucker. And when I went to the Bing in the towers, when they sent me to what was it, 5 South or 3 South? I forgot what it was. See, this is where, bro, they was shitting down. You come down the corridors, all the bloods, and them niggas was shitting, trying to shit down everybody. You come down there, the whole fucking gallery was blood. They was trying to shit you down as you walk down the gallery, and you in handcuffs going down the gallery, and they trying to shit you down because they can't cut you. They can't do shit to you. So they trying to shit you down.
He said that like the time that they did that, like it ended up burning the person's skin or something like that. Like, have you ever seen anything like that where like it really had crazy effects on somebody's like health after?
Nah, but I mean, I know I was there when there was a dude that yapped the chain. He yapped the chain from one of the bros, and he ran into the cell, locked himself in, and we couldn't get into the cell to get him. So they took the pot of 190 and they put a jar of peanut butter in the 190 and let it melt, and threw the whole 190 through the fucking cell, and that nigga's skin was coming off his fucking face.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I seen that shit happen. That shit was ugly. But as far as shitting somebody down, they made it a charge. They made that shitting shit down a charge. You shit somebody down, you get a new charge for that shit in jail. That shit, bro, that shit's disgusting, bro. People got fucking syphilis and got AIDS and got all type of shit, and that shit's disgusting, bro.
That's a real health concern right there.
That shit is disgusting, bro. That's how it was, though. They was shitting motherfuckers down, bro. That shit was disgusting, bro. That shit was disgusting. Motherfuckers was doing that shit left and right. They was shitting the milk cartons when you couldn't get the fucking the shampoo bottles. They started taking all that shit. People were shitting the fucking shit and piss in the fucking milk cartons. Because they give you the milk carton, 2 milk cartons sometimes in the morning. So they would shit and piss in the milk cartons and put them in the corner and sell and let that shit ferment. And then when the CEO or somebody would come and get shitting down, that shit was disgusting. That shit was disgusting. Disgusting, bro.
You've seen so much like traumatic things in prison, right? And after being out for 30 years now, about 30 years, do you think that that's stuff that you ever get over, or it's just like you learn how to live with it?
You definitely learn to live with it. You know what I mean? It definitely is. I'm not going to front. Like a couple of nights ago, I woke up hearing cells like cracking, like thinking I was still locked up.
So, wow.
And it's like, it's just things that happen in life. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit is like, you'll get a flashback here and there, or, you know what I'm saying? There was a time when I used to eat with my arm on the fucking covering my food and, knock on tables when you're going to get up, because you're not supposed to talk while you're eating. So you knock once when you acknowledging the person getting up, the person getting up, to knock twice, out of respect. So there's different rules and different ways you move in prison that I had that habit for, bro, like 15 years, bro. I was knocking on tables. I just got over that shit maybe like 10 years ago. I was knocking my own fucking table that I'm getting up. Yeah, so it's definitely, they should have some other type of programs to bring people into society. You know what I mean? They have all this money for all the migrants and all these different people coming in, but they don't do anything with the youth that you have to try to change their lives and give them some type of reentry. You know, now they got certain programs that they're doing, but they should be more reentry programs, like teaching them skills and teaching them different ways, and even some type of therapy, to be honest with you. They should have some type of group therapy to try to get people able to communicate, because I think as men, that is in our generation, our hardest thing is communication. We hold all our problems in, and we hold all our griefs and all our things in, and I think that's why a lot of guys at one point or other, they just snap, because they hold everything in so much. So it's hard for people from my generation to be able to talk about their problems or express themselves. You know, we still have that machismo of, you know.
Well, yeah, because like the way that boys are raised is like not like girls. It's like you can't cry, you can't really express your feelings and stuff like that.
Can't show any weakness. So, you know, especially
and it's like, you know, that we express it in anger instead.
Exactly.
Right? So, and it doesn't provide the same kind of relief that crying does.
So I definitely think that there should be more done with like I said, with like reentry programs. And there's a lot of, look at all the individuals that come home, you know what I mean? Like even Blue Boy, he came home, he was doing his thing, and then he put himself into, they gave him a job as security at a dispensary. They set him up for failure. Bro. You know what I'm saying? And I ended up catching him another bid, you know, because he's got that mentality. He's not going to let nobody play him. And whatever happened, the incident that happened, I'm not going to get into all the things, but he wasn't prepared to come back to society. And, you know, he was set up for failure, you know.
So let me ask you that. Do you feel like people aren't willing to really give you a second chance after you do time? And you're supposed to say, pay your debt to society. But like, what are you supposed to do when people, you know?
Well, I don't think it's that as bad as it was like in the 90s when I came home. It was hard because, for instance, I got a job. One of the first jobs I got, my ex-wife at the time, I got me a job at, it was like customer service at Citibank. Dude, I don't touch no money. I don't touch nothing. You just answer the phone and complaints. So I never said that I would, you know, whatever. It's a fucking like a telemarketer shit. You answer, whatever.
Yeah, but I'm trying to imagine you.
Bro, it was like the first job, right? So
I'm trying to imagine you taking shit from anybody complaining on the phone.
Well, I'm just saying. So anyway, I get the job, whatever, and I'm there. The second week I'm there, they call me down to the office and they're like, "Oh, you never disclosed that you are on parole and you just came out of prison." And I'm like, "Okay, well, we're sorry. We're gonna have to let you go." What the fuck? So you're trying to do the right thing. You try to move up in things, and then a lot of people hold that against you. It's hard to get it. Not as hard now, because now everybody got a fucking felony now, some way or other. But in the 90s, bro, it was hard to get a job, bro. It was definitely, now you could even get city jobs with felonies. Back then, you couldn't. You know what I'm saying? I know my man's a garbage man. He got a felony. My other man got a job working at MTA. He got a felony. My other man works in fucking Long Island Railroad. He got a felony.
They're willing to do it more on a case-by-case basis now, right? Like if you like explain it and yeah.
Well, now they do like a background check. If you don't have any type of, the main no-nos is the same thing that everybody's going to look at you strange. If you got any fucking type of weirdo, you know what I'm saying, pedo, any type of sexual, any type of things like that, you're not getting a job nowhere, bro.
Depending on how violent the crime is, right?
Violent, it depends on what it was, you know what I'm saying? So it all depends on the violence of the crime, what it is, you know what I'm saying? If it was a robbery or you got some arson and shit like that, it's certain places that's not going to give you a job. Like you're not getting no type of fucking Uber, you're not getting no type of fucking Uber Eats, you're not getting no Lyft, you're not getting none of that with any type of violent crime like that. You're done. Now, if you haven't had any arrests or any felonies in over 10 years, they can't find out now, because now they dropped a new law that they can only go back a certain amount of time. So if you were convicted of a crime 15 years ago and you haven't gotten in trouble, that shit won't show up on a regular. They can't hold it against you. You can sue them if they do. You know what I'm saying? The only ones that they couldn't hold you accountable for is the sex crimes, which, you know, listen, a lot of sex crimes, they deserve to be fucking, you know what I'm saying, put under the fucking jail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You touch a fucking kid or you take something, like, come on, bro. That's a
serious thing in prison, especially because everybody got kids, they got moms. Dude, I've seen
those dudes, bro. Oh my God. I've seen I've seen some of them get so fucked up in there. Like, yeah. And the funny thing is, the COs will tell you, like, we was in the jail and some dude comes up to the gate. So we look at him, some weirdo looking dude. He comes in, he goes to the cell, and the CO's like, put the news on. That's the dude from St. Sebastian's that tried to rape the little girl at St. Sebastian's in the Queens. So we was like, what? And this is the CO told us right off the rip. He told me, told a couple of us, we go to the day room, put the TV on, that motherfucker's on. That dude didn't last in that fucking house. I don't think he lasted an hour, bro. Yo, the beating that dude got, bro. Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. Bro, dude stripped him down, was beat. Oh my God, bro. That dude was screaming for his life, bro. It was bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody respects that shit. I don't care what jail you land in any part of the country. Those pedos, the little kids and all that shit, bro. Get the fuck out of here, bro. You know?
What are your thoughts about, like, the Rolling 60s indictment with Big U, Brick Baby, Loose Cannon, like other stuff like that on the internet?
I think they told on themselves.
That's what Benzino basically said, right? He said that the internet and the streets were never supposed to meet like this, but now it seems like in the name of content creation, people are willing to say whatever for attention.
Listen,
it's made it easier for hip hop police.
When I saw that, and I saw them putting themselves at crime scenes, you know what I'm saying? Like, they put themselves in a scene where what's this dude from Philly's name that got killed over there? And oh man, PM Rock,
PNB Rock,
PNB Rock. That nigga Cannon put himself at the scene, talking about that him and Big U was there when it happened. But if he wouldn't have checked in, that wouldn't have went down. They would be able. You saw that shit?
No, I didn't see that.
There's an interview. If you go back, there's so many different things, bro, that they put themselves in different. And then somebody came out and said that was all cap. That was just for views and all that bullshit. And then the Brick Baby indictment and then the Lil Durk indictment and all these indictments, bro. Half these dudes is telling on themselves, bro. Like, they telling on themselves, bro. They want fame so bad that it's crazy, bro. Then you got the other YouTuber dude, what was his name? That he was talking gang politics like crazy. Savage TV or some shit like that. He had his face all full of tattoos and shit, and some dude fucking smoked him at the tattoo parlor. Smoked him behind the fucking internet fucking jail politics shit. They fucking smoked his ass. Like, yo, bro, this shit is not a joke, bro. I don't know, bro. That's why I be leery about doing some of these things, and I try to be politically correct. And it's not politically correct, but I'm not going to sit here and talk about another man's story and none of that. But a lot of these dudes, bro, I feel like they told on themselves. You know what I'm saying? They chase content to a point that they put their freedom on the line.
Well, we know that you do the interviews more as a favor to me. You know what I mean? It's not like you coming up
no,
here.
I get plenty of people call me. I'm going to keep it real. You know how many people call me to do different podcasts, bro? Like, I'm not even going to lie, bro. A lot of people, bro.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is that you don't choose to do it because you're not in need of attention.
A lot
you
of
don't
people
want attention like that.
It's not. You know what it is that everybody want to talk about shit that happened 30 years ago in prison. And I could get here and tell you, yeah, I told you a couple of war stories, but dudes want to get up here and talk about all the crazy shit that they did. But My dude, that's the past, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, what we doing now? What do you done positive? Like, I don't want to talk about shit 30 years ago. I'm not in that zone. Mentally, I'm not in that zone.
You don't want to relive it.
Nah, it doesn't make no sense because I've changed. I'm not the same person anymore. You know what I'm saying? I'm not out there looking for problem before. Oh, you can't go here. If let's say, for instance, if I would have been in a cell block and one of the Bloods or one of the Crips or somebody would have told me, yo, don't play the yard because any Latin dude that plays the yard is gonna get smoked. Bro, I would have went right to the bros and be like, yo, we going to that yard, son. And it would have just been an ego thing, you know what I'm saying? At that time and place in my life, you know what I'm saying? Because of another man gonna tell me I can't go here? Nah. You know
I'm
what
not
saying?
gonna lie to you though, like watching the Queen's Flip interview back versus like our interview, you can see the difference in your persona already, like just like the way that you carry yourself. It's a big difference, even just from that small amount of time.
Yeah, I told you I joke more, I laugh more, I have more fun.
Right.
I don't have that mentality.
During the Queen's Flip when you were a lot more serious, like you were standing more on business for a lot of stuff.
You know what it was? Because like that day, no, but you can't see it there, but outside there was like 30 of us. And Megs was there. My bro that passed away, rest in peace. The one that had the little issue with Charlie Hustle. We're not gonna get into that. But he was there and he was gonna come on the Queen's Flip and talk wild, because he was a wild boy. And me and the pastor just at the last minute, we was gonna come out there and and we was like, nah, we're gonna flip this, bro. We're gonna just be who we are. And that's why we took the interview in a different way and kept it more, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It was just more respectful than getting up there and just shitting on everybody, you know, like other people did, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah, but you know, back in the day, like gangsters and stuff, it's like you didn't even want to get your picture taken. You want to be on camera. You just wanted nothing in connection that is going to bring more attention to you, right? Especially if you're doing dirt, obviously. But now it's like, no, I want the attention. I need
because they get high off likes and streams and views.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like an addiction, bro. I'm gonna keep it real. It's an addiction, dude. Like this generation is
a dopamine hit. It's what it is. It's a dopamine hit.
My guy, they're lost. This new generation is lost. Like when I seen the whole shit with the Psycho Bob shit, these dudes was dropping body after body and all this crazy shit. Mom getting shot and all this crazy, and it's all on YouTube. And I'm like, yo, dudes digging up the ops fucking in the cemetery. Like, yo, what the fuck? Like, yo, bro, it's like, nah, bro. It's like, nah, I'm not. I do the interview because if it's all right, we have fun, we talk about old shit or whatever. Again, I'm not in the streets. I don't do nothing to put me in anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I work very hard every day. You know what I'm saying? I give thanks for being able to change my life. You know what I'm saying? Having an opportunity to make a living and provide for my family and not have to be in the streets. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of bros a lot of people, period, that didn't have that opportunity. I tried the music thing. I got disgusted with it. To me, it was a disgusting thing. You had to do certain things and you got to sell your soul to get to certain places. And that wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? I just got disgusted with it. So, you know, I had to find a different way to be able to make a living and change my life around. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the studio and the music shit cost me my marriage at one point. And I don't want to be that person anymore. I wanted to change it and be a better man for my kids, not even anything else. And I'm at peace, bro. I'm at peace. You know what I mean? I calm. Look, you want to see peaceful? Look at peaceful. You see, that's peaceful. Yeah. My dog there chilling.
Well,
it's good nap time, but
you know, all of that could have changed if you had just given Karol G a chance.
Oh, that shit is funny. It's funny because it happens in life. You know what I'm saying? That shit happens in life.
She's finer than a motherfucker too.
She was young. Back then? She was young, my guy. When she came to the studio, she was mad young, bro. She was mad young. Her mom was a manager. And it was one of my man's cousins.
How young are you talking about?
Bro, she was probably like 16, 17.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
She was young.
Yeah.
She's young, bro. She was a young girl, bro. And that's my man.
I didn't know you were talking about that far back. I thought you were talking about she was in her 20s still.
Nah, she was young, bro. She's young as hell right now. She's what, 31 maybe? I don't even know how she is, but she was young.
Sometimes I forget how old you are. My bad.
She was young, my guy. And that was my well, she's related to a couple of my peoples out here. She's related to them. And when they came at that time, Cuban was on fire, bro. Cuban wasn't trying to do nothing for free, bro. He would do shit for me, but they wanted tracks with Cuban, with Ray Chester. You know, her mom was trying to, and then we was trying to sign her into trying to get a deal, but the moms wanted just the features and they didn't want to, you know what I'm saying? It was just a long story. It wasn't really her. It was just management thing. But, you know, in order to, you're going to do all these different things for a person. You want to make sure that you have some type of security that you're going to make something back in the future or something. But I think everything worked out the best for her because we wouldn't have been able to put her in the position that she is today. You know, God bless her.
And she on fire.
She's on fire. God bless her, bro. I think everything worked out for her. I don't think she was ready for it because she was young. She was going on. She started going to college out here. She wasn't. I think she was still in high school when she came over there, and then I don't know. She moved back to her country and she started doing the soap opera thing. And then next thing you know, she started catching rhythm over there. And bro, you know, she got with Anuel or whatever, and then she blew up. She knew how to take advantage of the situation. But God bless her, bro. God bless her, bro. For real, for real.
Yeah.
Melly Mel too. Melly Mel did real good. You know what I'm saying? She's one of the top artists out there. You know what I mean?
I'm still waiting on that Melly Mel interview, man. Come on, bro.
She told me that when she's ready to do interviews, that she'll definitely let you know. That was the last conversation I had with her about it. She's not in a place to be doing. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with her, but she's not even doing music right now.
No, I saw her post something recently.
How recent? Like maybe
like
a
week ago.
Okay, so maybe now she's starting again. But bro, this is 2 years ago that we talking that you wanted to do the interview. You know?
Shit, our interview was that far back, pretty much.
Yeah, it was like 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And she wasn't in the place.
I know you that long now.
Well, you probably know you longer. We just don't know because you're hiding behind that panda mask.
Yeah.
You've been in the corners and you've been in the corner watching. you've been over there with Cuban like that. Shit, but nah, shit.
I might have been in one of the 326 music videos or something.
Fuck around, bro. Fuck around. You was in the crowd somewhere. You know what I mean? Watching us.
I was in the studio filming you guys doodle pornos or something.
Nah, there wasn't none of that shit like that, bro. Nah, bro. That wasn't even. I'll keep it real. There was a lot of drinking going on, but nah, that wasn't. Hell no. My baby moms would have popped up there, would have chopped everybody up. There wasn't those things going on like that, but definitely had the porno next door. And I know who told you that too.
Who?
Cuban.
I don't remember who told me, but it probably was his freaky ass.
Bro, I thought
it was you that told me. I think it was you that told me that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you used to go downstairs to the vending machine and bitch be in there butt naked or some thongs running out from the fucking from their porno shit getting water because they had the vending machines there. Bro, it was all day. And then they would come knock on the door.
This is exactly why that was not a suitable environment for Karol G, okay?
But this is at 2 a.m, bro. The funny shit was, because you're not supposed to do porn, I think in New York. There was some weird law that you're not supposed to do it. So if you ever been to their porno studio, they had the walls painted white with palm trees, fake palm trees in there. They had it like it was some Cali shit. And
shit.
They would only show up at certain times. Like, that shit was only at night. You never saw them there in the daytime, ever, ever, ever. They had it as a video production company in the day. Like, they used to edit and they used to do, like, dub tapes. And, you know, you take your CDs and get dubbed and shit. That's what they had in the daytime. But at night, that's when all the creepy shit was going on. When we seen that. The funny shit is when I first seen him do Brian Pumper, I thought it was Lloyd Banks, bro. I swear to God, I thought it was Lloyd Banks.
You were like, yo, Banks, let me get a verse on this song.
My dude, right? I swear to God, I was twisted. And I opened the door to go downstairs, and we see this dude, and we thought it was I thought it was Lloyd Banks, and I had to double take, and I was like, oh, shit, it's the porno dude. Because he was from Hempstead. He's from Hempstead. So, bro, it was like, I had to do a double take. You know, I was like, this nigga Lloyd Banks got big as fuck. That shit was funny as fuck, bro. I think Cuban was there that night because we was joking about that shit. We like, yo, this nigga Lloyd Banks is in the hallway. He was like, yo, bro, that shit was a funny. It was weird, bro. That's when we was like, what the fuck is going on over there? We didn't know what the fuck is going on. Nigga, I see butt naked bitches. I thought it was some call girl shit, to be real.
That's crazy, man.
And then it turned out that Shorty came over there. She looking for some bud, and she started telling us. I was like, oh shit, she's hanging out with us the whole fucking night, sitting there, ass out, everything out. I'm like, yo, this chick is crazy, bro. Drinking Henny, butt naked. Butt ass nigga was like, oh, what the fuck?
But she looked good though.
Yeah. I don't know, bro. When it comes to shit like that, I be thinking it's a setup. I'm like, yo, bro.
Yeah.
There's some weird shit, but nah, it was that studio was we had a lot of fun.
Especially if that shit happened now, you got to be even more careful now.
But that's the thing. I'm gonna keep it real. My studio had cameras everywhere. So everything was being filmed at all hours. So you know what I mean? Like that's why I tell you, all that crazy shit in there, bro. I got daughters. We was not playing that shit over there, bro. You had your bitch, it's different story. Or you was gonna do your thing with some bitch. All right, cool. There was a section in the back. You go over there, you do your own little whatever thing over there. But nah, bro, you crazy. Nah, I'm not. Nah, but it's too much wild shit going on. You know, you never know. Next thing you know is, they try to run the train on me. Oh,
right.
Fuck out of here.
No, but especially in 2025 now, they'd be like, yo, we got this recorded conversation. Look at these DMs. Look at this. Bro, like they can twist anything now. It's crazy.
Because now it's like headhunting season right now. Look at everybody that's going out every day. Boom. First was Epstein, right? Who was the first one? Was Epstein, right?
I think so.
It was Epstein.
Well, I mean, remember, it started with the Me Too movement because there was like so many people, like Harvey Weinstein, just like all these different people.
Weinstein. Yeah. It was Weinstein, which fucked up the whole film industry because he was the only one doing the real hood films like Paid in Full and all those films. So they go down. Then it was Epstein. Then it was R. Kelly. Now it's Diddy. Now they coming out with the other dude. Yeah. Okay, yeah. But it's like, bro, like this shit is crazy. And then you watch the Diddy shit, and you like, what the fuck? You got to do it interviewing them, doing all type of bro. No comment.
Yeah, no more. But all right, I want to ask you, what is your view on snitching these days? Do you feel like it's not as important now to uphold those kind of morals of the street code from your personal perspective?
From my personal perspective is you shouldn't be doing something you can't hold the weight for. If you can't hold the weight, you shouldn't be doing it. You know what I'm saying? I still follow and I still stand on what I believe in. And you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't put somebody in prison. It's just not the way it is. I just
feel that you're not in the streets anymore, even though you've been retired for a long time now.
It don't matter though, bro. If you're in the streets and you're doing dirt, you should be able to pay the consequences of your actions. You know what I'm saying?
No, but I'm saying though, like right now, you've been a regular citizen for how long?
But I'm just saying, like, if I was in the streets, it's still the rules apply. It's like what? Because something happened.
I'm talking about now, this Cano version of Cano now. Like
I still got my morals. I still don't respect snitches and rats. And,
got you. Okay, that's what I'm trying to understand.
The shit with the rats now, look. What was disgusting about the rat situation now is that people now rat and they're not even telling the truth. They make up stories
to make it worse.
No, they'll make up a story. They'll hear bits and pieces and they'll put themselves there and they'll make up a story to put this person in jail for them to get out their dirt. Meanwhile, they're the ones that were doing the actual dirt to begin with. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's disgusting. It's just disgusting. Like, I've seen so many, like one of my little mans just got convicted, you know what I'm saying, for something that there's a video that proves his innocence. They don't want to allow the video into evidence, but they allow the snitches that are lying, that the video proves that they're lying. They don't allow the video into evidence, but they allow 3 rats to testify on him, and he gets convicted of a homicide that he didn't do.
But see, this is why I was asking you, about this version of Cano? Like, do you still think that it applies to you, even though you're a regular citizen now?
Of course it does, bro. Of
Because
course it does.
there's people that believe that as you get older, you phase out of that and like it doesn't apply to you anymore.
And what it makes it all right for you to tell on somebody? This version of me, what? If I'm not in the streets and I'm not doing no dirt, why would I be in a predicament that I even have to go through a situation like that? But if I was in a situation like that, you got to be held accountable for your actions. That's end of the day. Is like, even my son, I always tell him, yo, if you're not ready to do time, don't do that stupid shit. Don't be running around with this. Don't do that. Don't do this if you're not ready to do that time. And that's the problem, that a lot of these kids are not being taught that. They're letting them run wild. They're thinking it's cool, or they grow up under people that don't give them no morals or anything. No, bro, if you're going to do something stupid, be prepared to do the consequences. Don't point the finger at somebody else. Don't try to fucking, you know what I'm saying, push the blame on nobody. No, you do hold your own and you do the time for your crime. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, let me give you an example, right? So not too long ago, Benzino, he got shot by his nephew, right? And people were saying, well, Benzino been out of the streets for so long and stuff like that. Like, it's
don't matter. He talks, you talk, and you got to live by it.
But that's what people were saying. Like, Hassan even like gave him a pass. Hassan was like, yeah, you know, Benzino real old now, so it's whatever, you know what I'm saying? But
well, I mean, he's real old and he sucked something 20 years ago. That doesn't make him gay now. No, bro, that shit don't know. No, nigga, no.
Do you know his story with the whole thing with his nephew?
Yeah, I seen the story. I seen that he made a statement when he got shot, and then he turned around and said that they caught him red-handed. He did it in front of mad witnesses, but he didn't testify. That they read a statement, and then the dude called him up there and set him up and read word for word what he said on the stand. And then Benzino was trying to justify, oh, no, that's from the recording. No, this is from you on the stand. So, my dude, you took the stand, you told, you know what I'm saying? You told.
So like some people feel like, oh, because he was on the stand and he didn't point out his nephew specifically and get him 15 years or whatever, that the previous recording was when he got shot in the hospital after the, you know,
in the heat of the moment. He made the statement in the heat of the moment. And then he tried to clean it up.
Right. So then they're saying that doesn't count. That's what people say. But then some people believe that any form of corroboration with police at all is snitching.
Listen. There's certain shit too. Look, this is what happens. This is why it's always better not to say a word, because if you get arrested, right? Or you get questioned, the cop writes whatever the fuck he wants to on that police report. And a lot of cops turn around and put certain words in your mouth, pause, to be able to arrest somebody else, to give them probable cause to arrest them. So you'll be there sitting in the office and he'll be like, oh, do you know this guy, John? Yeah, I know him. How do you know him? Oh, I know him from this. Oh, do you know him from that? Next thing you know, he's like, oh, when's the last time you saw him? So they're writing down whatever they want. You don't know what they're writing. He could be like, yeah, I saw John. John was leaving the incident, blah, blah. They'll put whatever they want on that report, because with that report now, they could turn around and get probable cause to go arrest that dude. Now, the only way that you're going to be able to dispute that you said anything on that police report is if you go to trial. So when that person goes to trial, it's like, yo, I didn't do it. He's lying. Now they got to bring you on the stand, and now you got to testify on the stand to say, corroborate that statement, which 90% of the time, people don't want to go to trial. They just cop out. So cops will line you up without you even telling. You understand what I'm saying? So the best thing to do is not say nothing. You get arrested, that's what you got a lawyer for. You know your rights. No, I want a lawyer. That's my case was the same way. My statement was, I didn't do nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know that person. I wasn't there. No. And that's the statement they read in the grand jury. That's the statement that they read. And that's kind of what saved me, because I didn't write no fucking statement. I didn't give no statement. You know what I'm saying? So the minute you implicate yourself and you be like, oh yeah, I was there, but I didn't participate. I was just observing while he did this. You already implicated yourself. So all this snitching shit, like Tekashi's a fucking rat. You know what I'm saying? All this shit justifying, oh, they fucked my baby moms. Oh, they did this, they did that. Motherfucker, you put money on niggas' heads and you didn't get indicted, nigga. You was the main fucking ringleader of the whole circus.
Right.
And you walk away and you still doing the fuckery? Everywhere you go, you're doing the fuckery? Come on,
he
bro.
made it into a brand. Like his album's called Tattletales and like everything like that.
Because he exploited everything. And because he's trying to make the change and all the bullshit, the same shit with fucking Troy Ave and a bunch of everybody.
Yeah, so that's another thing I wanted to ask you, right? Because that situation, I felt like it was almost like a milestone in how content creation has affected the way that street dudes move, right? We've never seen where like, okay, you're coming on a platform as big as Drink Champs and you're going to be talking about an open murder case that you are involved in as well. So somebody like Nori, I felt like, bro, like you are a street guy. Like, how could you allow this? And not just that, but you're allowing him to speak against somebody else that you know.
You know why he did that? Let's be realistic. He went on every podcast and every radio station while everything was going on, so he could paint the narrative. So that way he could taint the jurors and he could taint everybody's perception. Because if you're openly discussing it and openly telling them, yo, this is what happened, his situation is crazy. You know what I'm saying? His situation is crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, like I said, you got to be held accountable for all your actions. You know what I'm saying? You got to be held accountable.
His whole thing is like going like, oh, the streets is a myth. And so it justifies him being able to do something like that, which is just, I don't know. It's just crazy, man.
Well, don't hit a federal penitentiary with that mentality, because you won't be able to walk that yard. You got to check. See, the thing is, look, and now it's even getting lax in certain jails or certain things. If you're not part of a car, certain cars check your paperwork as soon as you come in. You got 48 hours. Sometimes certain jails give you 30 days. Like if you affiliated, you have a certain amount of time to present your paperwork. And if you don't present that paperwork within them 30 days, they pack you the fuck up. You can't walk that yard. You out of there. You out the jail, bro. They smoke you out. You know what I'm saying? So these dudes want to keep running with this whole narrative because they cooperate in making deals. You know what I'm saying? But if you ever hit a pen and your paperwork, because that's the problem. Look at Tekashi. All right, let's talk about Tekashi since we on that shit. All right. The dude testifies. He put Shadi, all these dudes away, right? Solid dudes. He put solid dudes that were going all out for him, doing everything they was doing to help him out because he's a troll. A lot of these dudes are not trolls. They street dudes. You know what I'm saying? Nuke, official dude. You know what I'm saying? Hobbs, street dude. A lot of them dudes that he was fucking with, these solid individuals. You know what I'm saying?
Did you know them?
Nuke, I know him from Rikers Island. I met him before. His name, you know what I'm saying? His name was solid. You know what I'm saying? Certain dudes, they were solid. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is they held them down. Okay. He created this whole fucking narrative with this whole shit, videotaping. I got 10 stacks on him, blood. I got this. I got that. He created this whole chaos from the first shooting all the way down. He's the one that created it. Now, did they fuck up? Yeah, they fucked up because they were supposed to cuff him and keep him out of trouble because he was the cash cow. But inexperience and whatever. Okay, cool. Government.
There was inner turmoil between the guys too, though.
Because each one wants a piece of the cash cow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let's be real. He was the cash cow. Now, he gets over. He snitches. He puts all these dudes in jail. He comes out. He justifies it, right? He justifies it. Oh, they were fucking my baby moms. They kidnapped me. They did this. They did that. They did this. Okay, cool. The government gives you a second chance at life. Second chance. You come out. You on fire. You got your career going. You start to troll this shit again. You go to DR. You start some shit over there. You want to run around like you tough. You catch a case out there. You locked up out there. You come out. You got to escape through fucking Haiti to get the fuck out the country because you started that. You come back out here. You again with the trolling. You again with the trolling. My nigga, you troll the bros. Bros whooped you out. You want to keep throwing crowns down. Niggas whooped you out. Niggas whooped you out. You got whooped out. End the story. You got whooped out.
Those were bros that beat him up at the gym?
In the gym. Those are the bros. Bros whooped him the fuck out. He got whooped out by the bros. Got whooped out.
Which city was he in when he did that?
It wasn't Miami. What's the town right next to it?
In Florida, somewhere in Florida.
No, it's in Florida, but I forgot the exact town. It was like not Broward, Miami. What's the shit? Whatever. I can't remember right now. But it was the bros. Bros whooped him out. You know what I'm saying? So he gets whooped out. You still throwing the crown down. My man, you got whooped out already. You got whooped out. You still trying. You go back to jail. Like, bro, you know what's going to happen. One of these days we're going to read about him. And it's going to be a tragic story because he has not changed.
Right.
He has not changed. You're still a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. Come on. You put all these dudes, could be, you put all these dudes in jail, bro. Dudes that was holding you down. Fuck a piece of shit, bro. You know what I'm saying?
So when it came to Troy Ave in that situation, you consider that, of course, snitching, right?
Of course.
So he shouldn't have done anything. Okay. A lot of times now we see things like, oh, that person is snitching on me, so I'm doing the same back to them.
Okay, there's a situation that happened, something similar to that. All right. There was an individual that did some bullshit back in the days, whatever. And bro did something to this dude. This dude turned around and told on this dude for doing something to him. But then when this dude gets arrested, since this guy told on him, he turned around and told on him for something else. And this dude ended up getting fucking 15 years. But he told on him first. I don't know if you're following so far, because I don't really want to get into details because a lot of people know. But one dude.
I know what you're saying.
All right. This dude right here did some fucked up shit. This dude cut him and left him for dead. This dude turned around and told the cops, he did this to me. So when this dude gets arrested, he thinks that this dude is told on him and he's gone because he left him for dead. So he turns around and tells on him for something else. And it's like, bro, y'all both snitched.
Right.
There's no justifying it, bro. Like at the end of the day, bro, if you a man, stand on what you do. Be accountable for your actions. Don't do something that you're not willing to do the time for. That's it. That's it, bro. That's it, bro.
You know, my bro, China Mac, he said that like when you in the streets and you pick up that gun or you make that decision to do whatever, you are signing a contract basically that you are going to live by that code and uphold 100%. Those standards.
100%. That's why I say make sure that you are ready to do the time for the crime you're going to commit. Don't make something out of the impulse and then turn around and be like, oh, but I'm going to tell on him. I'm going to tell on him. You know what I'm saying? Another thing I don't respect is how the government gives deals to like the kingpin to tell on everybody else when he's the main mastermind behind everything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. Like, the way they be doing shit now, they don't give a fuck. They just want convictions.
Right. Or how they give the proffer.
They get a proffer, the queen for a day, and they do all this crazy shit. Like, bro, it's like insane. Like, that's why, bro, the streets is over. All that street shit, there's plenty of people getting wild money and doing stupid shit and doing dumb shit and all that shit. But the honor and the respect that there was before, that shit is over with because this new generation, bro, they don't respect. They rob women. They fucking chain snatching. They doing all this fucking, there's no morals anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like,
there's no codes.
Nah, bro, you see all this shit in the train, 2-3 kids jumping an old lady, snuffing her. There's no respect, bro. Like back then, bro, there was a respect. You know, it could be an old man, you give him a pass, bro. It was an old lady, you give him a pass. It was
or if you're with your kids,
right,
or
there was a pass. There was certain morals and certain principles that, you know, it was a street code. Yeah, we wasn't doing good, but it was honorable to certain
even in certain things like where like you don't talk about somebody that is dead, like your ops or something like that. But now it's like you said, you digging them up and like you go into the funeral to make sure they really dead and like just
sitting on a grave and all this
just
crazy
like all
shit
that type of stuff.
Views, but you look at the crazy shit and it's like, you know who looks at these content, gives them the views and all that? Us. Because we'll turn around and be like, nah, he ain't do that. Because we're in disbelief. It's shock value. That's what it is. It's a clickbait shock value. Because I'd be like, nah, impossible. No, he didn't do that. And you see this nigga knocking down the tombstone, digging up the fucking grave, and you doing a video of this shit. Like, bro, like, you're out of your fucking mind, bro. Dude is dead. What are you doing? Like, there's no respect no more, bro. There's no respect, bro. It's just like, bro, this generation, bro, that's why they're all dying so young. Everybody want to be a driller. Everybody want to be with a fucking, it's 100 degrees on. Everybody got the poo shiesty on. You know what I'm saying? Out here, that shit, they running up on you now. It's misdemeanor now.
Wow. That's crazy.
Poo shiesties? Poo shiesties? Yeah, police. That gets police probable cause now. Out here. Bro, these little young kids, bro, it's 100 degrees. Motherfuckers smell like ass with fucking bad breath with a fucking poo shiesty on 100 degrees. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, bro, everybody want to be a killer, bro.
All right, let me ask you about the snitching thing in regards to a citizen, right? Like a regular citizen. Because a lot of times people try to put that like on regular citizens too. Like, you're not supposed to tell. But then I've seen dudes that'll be like, yo, if you a regular citizen, like,
if you regular square and you a hard working square
or something like that,
and that
like
shit, bro, they ain't supposed to tell because you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You robbed some old lady and the old lady told on you, good for you, motherfucker. Shouldn't have been doing that to begin with. You know what I'm saying? That's a woman. You know what I'm saying? Even a woman, bro. You know what I mean?
All right, what about in this situation? Remember Vlad?
Okay.
And Rick Ross? Now, Vlad is technically a regular citizen, right? Because he's not in the streets like that. But some people feels like, well, you kind of, you're a media journalist, you kind of covered it, and you're in a field that is really aggressive, and like I don't know, like
he's toting the line. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, that's like you toting the line because you want to be around all the street dudes. You want to be making money with the street dudes, doing content, doing all this. And this is, we talking about back in the days when he's doing the mixtapes and all that, running around with BMF and all those dudes. He was kind of toting the line because you know what they're doing, but then when the street shit comes back and bites you in the ass, you pull the civilian card. I'm gonna be real, bro. Certain people, if you open your mouth and do certain things, you deserve that ass whipping. So if you, like I said, you got to stand the he kind of exposed Rick Ross. So he was going at Rick Ross with all the fucking, that's what he was exposing him, right? As a CO?
Yeah, he did. He wasn't the one that put it out first, but he covered it on his thing.
He covered it. So when they whooped him out, they was trying to teach him a lesson. He was supposed to take that ass whipping and keep it moving.
Some people would say that he's just a journalist.
Yeah, you was in that, bro. You running around with BMF. You running around with all this. So what? You see them niggas bagging up bricks, and you gonna tell on them niggas too? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. You're picking and choosing right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're gonna be dealing with shit, okay. Was he a civilian? Yes, he was a civilian. Was he a square? Yes. Does he play? Okay. You're kind of right because he doesn't front like he's a gangster. He doesn't play that role. So okay, he's a civilian. Yeah.
And I don't know what the right answer is. I'm just asking you from your perspective. You know what I mean? Because I can see how, like, if you're toting the line, like you're saying, it's kind of tough to call it. You know what I mean?
Because when you're around that lifestyle, and you know the rules, you know the rules of the street, and you know the rules of, you know what I'm saying? When you're around that lifestyle, and you being around it, it's like the Tekashi shit. We go back to it. He plays the no, but I didn't. No, motherfucker, you're the fucking. You're involved. You know what's going on. You're in the streets. Like, it's like everybody wants an excuse to justify their actions. You know what I'm saying? The Rick Ross shit, it was more of a financial shit. Let's keep it real. Because I don't think he pressed charges.
No, but he got about like 300,000 from that or something like that.
No, he did a civil suit. So he did a come up. That's how he started Vlad TV, and he started all this shit. So it was a civil suit.
I think this was actually he already had Vlad TV, but I'm sure the money helped him though. Maybe some new cameras or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that whole situation. I don't know, man. Let's say right now I'm walking down the street and fucking Kanye West runs me over with his limousine by accident. Motherfucking right, I'm gonna call a lawyer to get fucking. I got hit by his limo. No, I'm just saying, civil is different from criminal. You know, also civil is a different thing from criminal. you know, a lot of people make up stories though for these. Last year they did whip his ass. They did whip his ass. I think I've seen some pictures back in days with the eye jam and all this. So they did whip him.
Yeah.
He paid it. Rick Ross paid it. I guess it is what it is. And that was it. But a lot of people make shit up just to try to get. How many people you think jumped on his cash wagon?
I don't know, man, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
There's a lot of people that are making up stories, bro. A lot of people that are making up stories just to put themselves in a predicament to make some payola.
See, to me though, like I really believe strongly in like energy and karma, so I just couldn't see myself doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Because you have morals,
right?
You have morals.
Because like you might be a quick come up right now, but you don't know how that's going to come back at you.
It's like, all right, let's say, for instance, I don't know if you got daughters or not, but I've never walked around in my house in my boxes with no shirt on. This is my own house. I put shorts on. I put a tank top on. You understand what I'm saying?
The camera turned off. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Something clicked on it. It said graphics, hit button for graphics. You know what I'm saying? Like in my own house. I don't walk around my house in boxes. I walk around my house in shorts. I go to bed in shorts. I have a tank top on. I never walk around the house with no shirt on. And that's just me teaching my kids. My son, he will come out of his room and box, go put some shorts on. You know what I'm saying? You got your mother here and you got your daughter here. Nah, we don't do that. We don't do that around here. Go put some shorts on. And I never allowed him, even since a little kid, don't come out of your room in your underwear. Your underwear, you want to sleep in your room, you want to. If you're in the shower, you put your boxers on and you go to your room to change, fine. But walk around the crib in your boxers, nah. So it was just certain rules or certain things that I enforced with my kids. You know what I'm saying? So you got to follow certain rules in the game, bro. It's just like everything in life, bro. Is you have to have some type of morals, bro. It's just, you know, the older person yells at you. Sometimes you got to be like, it's an older person. What are you going to do? You going to beat them up? Oh, bro, okay. Have a nice day. Excuse me. Excuse me. Nah, but it's bro, it's just, there's no respect, bro.
Right.
Well, I remember growing up on the block and everybody on the block, if you did something crazy, the older people would come out and try to discipline you. And
then you go home and get disciplined.
And then go home and get whooped on top of that.
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh, he put his hands on you. He did this. Fuck that. Go do this. Da, da, da. But those were the ones that was teaching us valuable lessons in life. You understand what I'm saying? There's no more of that.
Hard lessons.
It's just different, bro. If you look at this generation, bro, it's just crazy, bro.
Well, everything is for clout.
Everything. You
know,
everything.
Like I hate the fact that like people feel it's not real until I put it online. Like what I'm doing out in like my life and stuff like that, until I put it on my stories, until I put it on my, you know, it's like everything is for like approval. You need somebody's approval to
get
show
into a relationship now. It's not official unless you posted the person on Instagram. Yeah, I get it, bro. I get it. It's just everybody watches it. Yo, it's ill because, you know, like sometimes when I didn't want, this years ago, when I didn't want people to know I was in town, I would post pictures of me and DR, me somewhere, and oh, you a DR? Wow, what's up? Oh, nah, when I don't want to be bothered, I'll be like, I'm on vacation somewhere. But it's like, it's so crazy. It's like so crazy how people follow your gram and believe and it might just be a throwback. Or sometimes I just post up a picture like, oh, Throwback Thursday or whatever I'm throwing. Because it was Throwback Thursdays. So put a picture up, oh, you in DR? Nah, why? Oh, you put a picture up? I was just putting up a throwback. Oh, shit. But everybody is so attentive now to social media that they feel they know you. Like there's people that come and they'll see you. Well, they don't see you, but they'll see somebody on Instagram, on YouTube, and they think they know you just for being on social media. Or you follow somebody on social media and they think they're so cool with you that they can, yo, I'm kind of fucked up. You think you could send me $50? My man, where the fuck I know you? Bro, that's the new thing. Oh, you haven't had that one yet?
I've had not the money part, you know, but I've had the kind of like people think they know me from the interviews when
that's the new one now.
Hear me talk about myself in any interview though. I don't talk about myself like people think that they know me from that. They're like, oh, I already know what type of person you are. Like you this, and I'm just like, bro, you don't even know. Like on purpose, I never talk about myself.
Dude, you got a lot of weirdos. Oh, he won't answer me back because he fucks with Panda Chop. What the fuck I got to, my nigga? Yo, I didn't do 2 interviews with 2 different dudes, and they was like, because Panda Chop told you not to do them. I was like, what?
Yo, people be getting mad, bro, because for a while I was having a lot of bros on the channel, right? Mm-hmm. And like people was like saying stuff like, yo, my bros, don't do interviews on Panda Chop. This guy's a fed, this is this, and yada yada and stuff. And it's just like, I don't know, this is crazy.
I mean, you're a journalist, and you're going to ask a question. Now it's up to me to tell you what I want to tell you. So a lot of these dudes, like, you know what I'm saying, indict themselves because they want to get up here and tell these crazy stories. Like Casanova, they used a lot of his interviews, you know what I'm saying, on him. A lot of people say AR Ab, they used some of his interviews to hurt him in his case, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people were doing things, the camera shit is crazy. Once social media, it destroyed street. It did destroy the streets. The social media.
You know what's so crazy though? It's like I don't even feel like I ask anything like current that you could get in trouble with. Nah. There were times like where I've done interviews with people and they'll say like a threatening thing, like, yeah, I would kill him. I cut that shit out, bro, because I'm like, I'm not trying to get the person in trouble in any way. Like,
yeah, but it's like, bro, that's why a lot of the times I don't do these interviews, because everybody wants to go back to the negativity of Rikers Island. Yeah, I did a lot of time on Rikers Island. Yeah, I did my share of dirt, and I've had shit happen to me. But for you to come up here and justify, there was a time in our lives that we lived, and that was how we lived like animals, because we had to survive in prison. So, in prison, it's either you pray or you know what I'm saying, you're food, bro. Either you're the predator or you prey. You can't just go in there and expect, nothing's going to happen. No, somebody's going to test you, and you got to stand up for yourself, because if you don't, everybody's going to walk all over you. So you're forced to do what you got to do to survive in prison.
Right.
Some people just can't do it. But for you to come home and still try to live that glory from 30 years ago, and that's the problem with a lot of these podcasts, jail story things, that they still want to live the reputation that they lived 30 years ago. No, I don't gangbang. I'm like 50 Cent, no, I do not gangbang. No, I don't. I don't gangbang. I don't give a fuck what color flag you walk by me. I don't give a fuck what you do. You respect me, I'm going to respect you. You disrespect, then, you of course, to the consequences of what happens, but we're all men. But all that gangbanging shit over colors and this and that shit is corny. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the generation has to start learning, how to uplift their people and how to make something, be a positive role model. If not for anyone, for your kids that you have, because you don't want your kids. I don't want none of my kids ain't going to jail. So I feel I've accomplished. My nephews, nobody from our generation, I'm the only one that went to prison in my family. You know what I'm saying? So anybody else from my family never went to prison. So that's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? So they learn from my mistakes. So
absolutely,
obviously someone's doing something right. You know what I'm saying? I might not be able to go to some of these schools or some of the things because of my work schedule. I get a lot of invites to go speak at a lot of different functions and stuff like that, which honestly, if I had the time to do it, I would definitely want to do it. You know what I'm saying? And help out some of the youth and try to, bring awareness to that street life is over, to be honest with you. It's harder to be a working man, bro. Tell me it's not.
Yeah, it absolutely is, man.
It's harder to be a working man, and it's cool to be a working man.
Well, that's cool. What you said. That was it. You and Pastor Benny said that on Queen's Flip, right?
Yeah. That was the thing. It's harder to be a working man, getting up every morning.
You guys were saying that's the real gangster right there.
That is a real gangster. That is what
take care of your family.
Bro, you know how hard it is to be able to fucking work sometimes 60 hours a week and get that check, and that check isn't enough to pay all your bills, and you gotta struggle and do certain things. I do it, but you don't got nobody looking for you. You're not doing anything illegal. Nobody's going to come knock on your door to lock you up. It's the best feeling in the world, bro. And that's what they got to start teaching these kids, you know what I'm saying? To be grateful. You get a new job, hey, you get a better one tomorrow. And you keep doing what you got to do, because at the end of the day, what you're going to be, 60 years old on the corner, hanging out with a pair of Timbs and a Yankee fitted?
Well, that's the problem is kind of like the exploitation of it, right? It's like the fascination with the street life of like how hip hop has really made it like it's so cool to be real?
Because we all looked at it like that. Let's be real.
Right.
We grew up on watching gangster flicks, Godfather, Scarface, New Jack City, all these different movies with the gangster was always the ill guy that you wanted to be. Nobody wanted to be the cop.
Right.
Nobody wanted to be the father. What was it? Bronx Tale. Bronx Tale. Nobody wanted to be Robert De Niro, the working Joe. Everybody wanted to be Sonny. You know what I'm saying? But look, Sonny gets smoked. The other ones go to jail. Everything goes. And the hardworking man is still there getting up every morning. Bro, that's the hardest thing in the world, bro, is to get up to work for some bullshit that you can go out in that corner and make it in, 20 minutes, half an hour, make a week paycheck right there. Quick flip, blah, blah, blah. Okay, right. Cool. But then you go to jail, you get caught, you go to jail for 2 years for that bullshit fucking sale you just made, which you could have just, it doesn't weigh out. When you look at it, bro, it doesn't weigh out no more, bro. It doesn't weigh out. So
what you're saying too also is like, okay, like you don't encourage people to go live the street life, but if you're gonna live the street life, then
abide by the code.
Yeah,
uphold the code.
By the codes. That's what you're saying.
If you're man enough to pick up a gun and go do your thing, be man enough to do the time.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, no one's forcing you to do it. You're doing it yourself.
What is your perspective with the immigration, deportation, and how it's affected New York specifically?
Oh, man. Why you want to get me in this shit, bro? Look, I'm going to be real with you. This shit is just, it has to be controlled, bro. Anything you do has to be controlled. That shit was just out of fucking control, bro. Everybody was running around like this shit was fucking South America, bro. The scooter shit, the robberies off the scooters, bro. This shit felt like I was in Colombia or fucking, this shit was crazy, bro. I'm not gonna fuck, bro. The streets were getting a little bit crazy. You know, man. I feel bad for the people that come here to work and do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? But look, a lot of people now that were pro deportation got their privilege taken away. Like the Cubans, that shit, I know they didn't expect that shit to happen.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? They're no longer protected, whatever. The Venezuelans, all these people that came here that were being persecuted because of the communist countries and all that shit, they no longer have protection under this administration. This shit is, it's a little bit serious right now because now it's affecting, like, one of my neighbors just got deported. This dude doesn't fucking... That dude goes to work every morning. I get up 5:30. I'll be seeing him getting up 5:30, going to work. Bro, this dude, I was like, I asked his wife the other day. I said, yo, what happened with Juan? He's like, oh, they deported him for DWI he had from years ago. I was like, oh, shit. So
you see the both sides of it. You see like how like, yeah, that's crazy, man.
It just...
I don't know. I mean, how can... It's kind of crazy because it's like if you've been here for this amount of time already, and you've shown and proved that your ass is just going to work. I mean, the DWI, it's like, it wasn't like a violent crime. Like, yes, like a fucked up, irresponsible kind of thing. But like, at the same time, it's like, bro, like.
I mean, it's fucked up because you got a lot of people that come here that come to work, bro, and change their lives. And the problem is that when you have migration, that all you're seeing is men from the ages of 16 to 25, which is the same problem that's happening in Europe and everywhere else. It's not even families. It's not even that. They're coming in with a different mind frame. And if you see it, the same shit is happening all over the world. Every country that did the migration thing and everything. And it's like, now it's like, holy shit, what's going on? These kids, like you've seen the videos. I don't know, you don't understand Spanish, but there was like a YouTuber, the influencer that he was telling people how to get over on the system. He's Venezuelan. And he was telling them, we come here not to work. We came here to live the grand. I'm not going to work. You guys are giving me $1,200 a month to a hotel room and this and that. I'm here to live the American dream. So now you got vets that been here their whole lives, fought for their country, fought for everything, and can't get the government to help them out with any type of benefits, but you're bringing people in from another country and you're giving them all this stuff. It's kind of...
Do you think that some of that is agenda based where it's like, because you know, America is so great at helping everyone else besides their own
except
people,
their own
right?
people.
Yeah, because it's like, remember, like during the 2020, people was in need of the checks. Look at how long it took for them to approve it, right? Yep. All of a sudden, there's a war overnight. We send in billions of dollars. It's just like that. Like it's nothing.
But that's what I'm saying. Everything's agenda based and it's politics and stuff like that.
To create division, though, right? Because then now you have people that are bitter towards the people that are receiving the actual help. You know, that are here.
There's a situation that I know for a fact. There's a young lady that I'm kind of seeing, right? So she has a degenerative genetic disease, and they don't want to give her Social Security. They don't want to give her no type of help, right? But she actually needs the help. So when she goes there, they tell her, you don't got kids, you don't got this. If you had kids, you were migrant, you were that, we can help you. But since you don't, we can't help you. What do you mean? I worked all my life, and now that I need help, I can't get help. So it's like a lot of different shit that's going on with the way the government is and everything is set up here. It's disgusting, bro. It's disgusting that somebody could come here and sit in a hotel, in a 5-star hotel, because the Roosevelt ain't no fucking cheap. The Roosevelt Hotel is a fucking right there on 42nd Street. They get a free room. They get $1,200, plus they get the food stamps. And don't got to do nothing. They got, all of them got Gucci, got this and that. Come on, bro. Like, what the fuck, bro? My parents migrated. Both of my parents are immigrants. My mother came here with a student visa. She became my mother never became a citizen. My mother had a permanent green card, but never became a citizen. Was in this country 70 years, well, she passed away, and 60-something years, and she never became a citizen. My father came here with a fucking work permit, got his citizenship, worked all his life. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got this shit together the right way. You come the right way and you do the right thing. Or people that come migrate and work for their families. But these people, a lot of these dudes came here to scam. Let's be realistic. I don't know if you've been to Queens. Before this shit happened, you would go down Queens, it looked like the 90s. You go down Roosevelt, it looked like the 90s. There was like a fucking 1,000 chicas on every corner. Pimps, all type of shit. Shit that you haven't seen in New York in like 30 years. Scooters everywhere. I never seen, the last time I seen scooters popping was when one of them niggas had the Honda Elites running around. No, I'm being 100%. What if, the Chinese delivery guys with the little scooters? Bro, you couldn't go down a block without 30 scooters all over the shit, taking a park. Like, what the fuck is going on? Them niggas got no jobs, no nothing, but they all got fucking, listen, I don't want to get into the whole fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like, I can see it from both sides, but going back to the influencer dude. So this influencer dude was on YouTube telling everybody how to scam the government, whatever. So they finally grabbed the nigga. They deport him to Venezuela. Venezuela, he goes to jail. The Venezuelans in jail kill him. First they beat him, then they beat him again, and then they killed him because they said that they made it so hard now for regular people to come into this country because of people like him. So they killed the nigga in jail.
Wow.
Because now regular people that want to come here to make a better life for themselves, to be able to take care of their families in other countries, like, let's be real. My father came here to take care of his family over there. My mother came here to make a better family, to make money to send back to my country to take care of her family.
Yeah, my parents
too. So that's what migrants usually do. Migrants usually come here, work their asses off so they could make a better future for their families back home and be able to bring them here at one point. Not these motherfuckers that they're sending over here, bro. These shits looks like it's all fucking gangbangers and all type of all the garbage. Like they opened up like it's the Mariel again. Yeah, I don't like getting into that topic. Like I said, it just gets a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
It's like a losing battle almost, right? Like it's like no matter what you're talking about, it's just like there's like,
it's like you'll be damned if you do, damned if you don't. But if you look at like a lot of this shit is internet politics. Like they'll paint one picture. Oh, the Venezuelans opened up all the jails and sent them out on buses and pushed them out if you come back. Supposedly now one of my boys lives in Venezuela. He said it's the safest fucking country in the world right now. Look at El Salvador. El Salvador supposedly is #1 country, safest country in the fucking planet. They put them all in jail. Yeah, listen. I don't know, bro. That's a real touchy subject, bro. You know, touchy subject, bro. I don't know. I don't really like getting involved in it because I can see it from both sides. But like I said, if you're going to come here or you're going to go to any country in Europe or you're going to go anywhere and you're going to go there just to live off the government, what happened 20 years ago? 20 years ago, you couldn't even get welfare. You was a migrant. You couldn't even get anything. Now you can go get a driver's license. You could go get welfare. You could go get all type of shit just for being illegal. But the people that are here, vets and homeless people and all these people that worked all their lives and are going through a difficult time and they're American citizens and they can't get those benefits, that's fucked up, bro. That's fucked up. And it's not just here. The same problem is going on in Europe because my cousins and them is over there and they having that same migrant problem over there. But over there is even worse. Why? Because now over there, let's say this is the new scam in Europe. Europe, they got this law, it's called occupation. If they take possession of the home for 48 hours, you can't get rid of them unless you take them to court, and it could take up to 5 years. So these motherfuckers will go sit on your doorstep and order Uber Eats on a credit card to that address. So they'll sit in your stoop, they'll get Uber Eats 2, 3 days, 4 or 5 days, wait for you to go to a vacation or wait for you to go to work or something, break into your crib, change the lock, and then sit in your crib like it's their house. You come home from wherever you are, you try to get in your crib, you call police, they come out with the Uber Eats receipts. No, we've occupied the house for over 48 hours, and by law, we can't go nowhere. And these motherfuckers is in the crib, migrants, and you can't get into your own fucking house. Now you gotta go and go with your family or go wherever, and you can't cut the light off, and you can't cut the water off or nothing, because then you go to jail for making them in.
That's crazy.
Yes, sir. That's what's going on over there in Europe right now. So we don't got it as bad as they do. Over here, we got squatters and shit. Wow. But over there, bro, look at the riots and all the crazy shit that's going on over there with this fucking shit. It's like, bro, like they opened floodgates and didn't realize what they're doing. Now, why you go to all these countries, like you go to Saudi Arabia, you go to Dubai, you go to any of these countries, you think there's any crime over there?
Nope.
No. You go to Morocco's, there's no crime. Why? Because they don't play that shit. They'll fucking, bye-bye, go to El Salvador, do that shit over there. You're going under the jail. So they know how to combat the element, but the rest of the world doesn't. So we opened up Pandora's box. Not just us, Europe too. Look at everywhere. It's Pandora's box, bro. It's all untamed. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
Do you think that in America right now, there's an agenda specifically with the deportations that are targeted towards Latinos specifically? Because I forgot.
It's only targeted towards Latinos because who else are they targeting?
That's what I'm saying, because like I forgot where I saw it, but somebody famous was talking about this and they were saying in an interview, they're like, I'm not trying to target like other ethnic backgrounds and stuff, but if you look at it, who's being deported, right? It's all Latinos. So if it's just against Latinos, just say that. If you don't like them, then just say that. But don't say that this is a whole wide.
Right. But you know what the problem is? Look, the problem is if you see where ICE is hitting, they're not in the rich neighborhoods. They're in all the low income areas where they know the Latinos are. Like right here, you know where they hang out? ICE hangs out at Home Depot, where all the migrants are there trying to find jobs. So, bro, that shit is affecting work. You know how many employees are scared to go to work now because they're scared they're going to go and never come back home? You know how many people, shops and fucking barbershops and bars and delis and everything is losing business because of the landscapers and the barbers and the different people that are, you know, migrants that are trying to work. They're scared to go to work.
Like good, hardworking people that really do contribute to this country. Because if you think about it, a lot of the jobs that they take on are jobs that people don't want to do, especially at the low wages that they're getting paid, right? If you go into the kitchens of a lot of places, Latinos are cooking Asian food, Italian food, every kind of food you can imagine, bro.
Bro, what American do you see? Let's say American, Afro-American, or even Latino-American working in the kitchen, working fucking landscaping and doing all this shit. Usually the owner is, but all the workers are Latinos. Let's be realistic. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's the crazy thing is that they're deporting they're grabbing all the hardworking ones, and all the element is still running around the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like it's sad, bro. A lot of the shit that they're doing, it's sad, bro. It is. It's sad because it's like, bro, like, you know, a lot of people came here and really are trying to better themselves, and those are the ones that suffer for it. You know, it's like, you know, I just think that it's hard to tell also, like, you got to play the devil's advocate, because it's like they can't pick and choose who they're going to take. So they're just going to take everybody and they'll sort it out later on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, a lot of people that I know that are born in Puerto Rico now are scared of death, that they're going to something's going to happen because they're scared that they're no longer going to be American or type of shit. Like it's fucking bugged out right now, bro. Everybody's on edge. I'm like, bro, they're going to deport me. Where the fuck they going to send me? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? It's fucking crazy, bro. But then again, it's like, why don't you let me come in as a migrant so I can sit on my fucking hotel, 5-star hotel, 4-star hotel, don't work, get my little $1,200 a fucking month, get my little 200 and change food stamps, and I'll be chilling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's not just here. In Europe, it's the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Spain, minimum wage in Spain is 600 euros a month. 600 euros a month, a buck and change a week they make. Migrants go there, they automatically give them 1,200 euros plus housing. So for being a migrant, you get double the amount that minimum wage is.
Wow. That's insane, bro.
Bro, like it's just, the politics is just nuts. Like,
yeah, it's just like there's a lot of
what
issues
are you doing
with everything that's happening, right?
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? One day they focus on, they're focusing on, what was the thing that they were focusing on? Besides the migration. Man's bathroom, woman's bathroom, and transformer. Yo, when I was in Spain, I went to Spain for whatever, vacation last year, and they had 3 bathrooms. In one bathroom, I got a picture, I'm gonna send it to you so we could laugh. Man's bathroom, woman's bathroom, and then transformer.
Interesting times to be alive, man. What a time to be alive.
You know, you do that shit in the States, you get fried. You are not gonna be able to get do that bathroom shit like that over here. Yo, bro, they'll fucking close your business down the next day.
All right, Cano, my brother, man. I just want to thank you so much for your time, bro. Is there anything else you want to say to the people before we go ahead and wrap it up?
I mean, not really. We're just going to talk it. We're going to just tune in to see the fight. You know, hopefully Hocus gets the bag and Cuban gets the bag, and they're both able to feed their families off that fight, and they can work everything out after that fight. You know what I'm saying? And that's really it, bro. You know, shout out to everyone. Shout out to A-War, S1, Gilly, everyone. You know what I'm saying? That's it, bro. You know what I'm saying? My man Cuban.
No shout out to my son?
I mean, I ain't got no issues with mice, bro. Like you like stirring the pot, but I ain't got no issues with mice or Lord Severe.
No, I'm asking you because you didn't shout him out. So
I really didn't have like a real like relationship like that with mice. Mice was more.
Oh, okay.
Mice was more like
I thought that you
mice
was close.
Mice was more like he would. I had the studio. Me and him were cool. I would hit him up, yo, you want to jump on this track? I got this ill beat. He'd be like, send me the beat. He's like, I don't like that one. I sent him a different beat. He's like, that one's fire. I'm jumping on it. Like, you know, and wherever I see him, it was what's up. It was always love. But I had more of a relationship with S and Hulk and A-War and P.O. and, you know, Gilly. You know, Lord, too. Lord, I didn't really have a relationship with Lord. I would say, what's up? What's going on, Lord? How you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And it was, you know what I mean? I ain't really... remember, I interacted more with the other ones. Like, I dealt more with Red Child, you know, on a day-to-day, you know. It was just, I had different relationship with different people, you know what I mean? Mice wasn't around like that, like everybody thinks he was. He really wasn't. Mice just came to the studio, lay his verses, do what he had to do, and he was on go time. Mice was very efficient. Like, he would come, do what he had to do. He wasn't the type to come hang out in the studio, my guy. He wasn't.
No,
that wasn't his. He would go, you call him to go to a show, he'll show up to a show. It was a venue, he'll show up to the venue. But it was more, he'd come, do what he got to do, and keep it moving.
Business,
which there was nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I always kept it, you know, hit him up. Yo, what's going on, my guy? Blah, blah, blah. Like, there was no issues. I never had an issue, never had anything. He never told me no. Another one, anytime I asked him for a joint or something, he would look out. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I'm on it. You know, he did The Block Is Hot. He did some other joint with Poe. He did, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's dope, man.
He was cool. Like, I personally, like, I'm not gonna badmouth somebody that I never had that experience with. Cuban had more.
Yeah, you should definitely not do that. You know?
So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, Cuban had a relationship with Mike. They had a closer relationship, obviously, because they go back. Hoke had a different relationship with Mike.
Right.
S1 had a different relationship. They're all part of the group. Remember, I'm not part of the group. I'm on the outside. You know what I'm saying?
You're
right. I'm like, you know, I'm more Cubans people. To be honest with you, I was more Cubans people.
Right.
And then I got close to, like I said, through Gilly, I got close to P.O. Because P.O. was really the one that used to do he was the man in the back putting the pieces together. So P.O. be like, yo, what's up, Cano? Blah, 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 blah. So it was more like, you know what I'm saying? So we can get into a different story. I got a good Bang Bang Boogie story for you one of these days.
All right, man. All right.
You know, we'll save it for the next interview.
All right.
But take care. Tune into Panda Chat. Bang, bang.